Eagles this afternoon from Lincoln Financial Field as the Eagles take on the San Francisco 49ers. Dick Stockton, Darryl, Johnston, and Tony Siragusa. And a lot remains as to what will be the reaction of both of these teams after week one. Now, the 49ers stunned the Rams, giving Mike Nolan a victory in his first game as head coach, while the Eagles lost an emotional game in Atlanta. Now, the long-running soap opera involving quarterback Donovan McNabb and his receiver Terrell Owens gives way today to the fact that Owens is playing his first game against his former club, the 49ers, and some harsh comments coming out of the Bay Area this week regarding Owens, and so we'll see how that plays out. Meanwhile, the overriding issue coming into this game, Darryl, has to be the health of Donovan McNabb. He suffered the bruised chest, and he's wearing some protection today, and he decided late in the week that he could go in this game, and that is going to be important today for Philadelphia.
Well, the health of your starting quarterback is important for every team in the NFL, but maybe more so for the Philadelphia Eagles. Starting mid-season last year, they started to rely heavily on their passing game, and if Donovan McNabb is affected in any way during the course of this game, they simply can't shift gears and start to lean on a running game that's been very ineffective. The San Francisco 49ers give Coach Mike Nolan a win in his debut, but it also leaves a lot of questions unanswered. Number one, what is their identity on the offensive side of the ball? They would like to be known as a team and a group that leans on a strong running game, but that was not the case last week. They have got to correct that against the Philadelphia Eagles, because you cannot be one-dimensional against Jim Johnson. And Tony Siragusa, you got more on that.
Absolutely, Moose. You know, my question also is how this front line of the San Francisco 49ers is going to handle the pressure that these Eagles are going to go and bring. Jim Johnson, with Jeremiah Trotter back in the lineup, has his whole playbook available to him. He's going to bring the pressure. He's going to be allowed to do that from a great secondary that can cover anybody in this league.
All right, Tony, and we'll be back with the opening kickoff in just a moment. A few moments ago, Terrell Owens introduced with the rest of the Eagles starting lineup and received cheers and a standing ovation from the fans. So at least that question to this point has been answered on a beautiful Sunday. Temperature in the 80s and not a cloud in the sky. There is Mike Nolan, who took over the 49ers, team that won only 2 games last year, Darryl, and a coach who said, no, we're not looking for respectability. We are looking to win the NFC West. Raise your standards. And of course, Andy Reid coming off a different set of circumstances in week one.
Yeah, kind of a reversal of what we expected to happen in week one for both of these teams. I'm still trying to figure out how San Francisco beat St. Louis. They got beat in every statistical category, but because of the things that Mike Nolan established, they were able to hang in there and just find a way, overcome some adversity. Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm really excited to see if what happened last Monday night was just an aberration, or have the distractions in the offseason really affected the play of this team. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered by both groups this afternoon.
And despite the results of a week ago, frankly, the 49ers really do have their hands full this afternoon. This is a team that won only 1 game in each of the last 2 seasons on the road. So we're ready to go. You saw Roderick Hood go back to receive the opening kickoff from Joe Nedney. The Eagles trying to go 1 step further this year and win a Super Bowl. And here is Roderick Hood returning the opening kickoff. And Hood is ridden out of bounds as he crosses the 25-yard line by Derek Johnson. Eagles going on offense to start this game, and that's really where the questions lie today. Donovan McNabb, the highest winning percentage among active quarterbacks at 70%. And we'll talk more about the protective device he has to protect his bruised chest.
I think the shoulder pads more than that protective padding, because those are new. That's going to be the big adjustment for him. How does that affect his throwing motion?
Eagles first down from the 28-yard line, 3 wide receivers, and the first pass is thrown underneath to L.J. Smith, the tight end, and a gain of 4 yards. Looking at the rest of the Eagles offense and the offensive line took kind of a beating against the Falcons last Monday night, and this is a team that, as you have said many times, would rather pass than throw at any point.
Oh, absolutely. And you get against those undersized quick guys and you struggle a little bit, and Terrell Owens going against his old team this afternoon. Expect some fireworks back there in the secondary.
2nd down and 6. Lamar Gordon, who was signed after being dropped by the Dolphins in the game as a running back, and Josh Parry, the fullback, and the pass overthrown incomplete, bringing up 3rd down. So let's really delve into what McNabb is using today to try to protect him.
Well, it's a special substance called viscoelastic polymer padding. It kind of looks like a superhero symbol there because it's going to be right on his chest, but you know, sometimes guys have used this on your shoulder because of the flexibility and the ability to mold it, but they're going to put it right on his chest, and if he takes a direct shot onto that padding, it will actually harden to dissipate the force of that blow to try and give him some more protection on that sternum.
3rd down and 6. McNabb looking for anyone downfield. Doesn't want to run, and he fires, and he finds Terrell Owens wide open, and Owens is going to score. How about that? 68 yards, McNabb to Owens. And that's his answer to Derek Smith's comments criticizing him during the week, the 49er linebacker.
You have two guys who are at their best when they are on the move, and when you add them together, it is something special. Donovan McNabb, you know he's not going to run today because of the injury. Terrell Owens does the right thing. Go deep. You know, you see these scramble drills, and everybody's coming back to the quarterback. He wants the big play. He's going to break it open early.
David Akers to try to give the Eagles a 7-point lead, less than 1 minute into the game, and he does. Well, that didn't take long. 68 yards. McNabb to Owens. Seven to nothing, but they will start their series at the 10-yard line.
As a team on the road, the one thing you don't want to do is have momentum early. The defense gives up a big play to Terrell Owens, and the Philadelphia special teams follows it up with a big hit on the kickoff. It's going to be rough sledding for this offense.
One wide receiver lined up. Out of the eye, Kevin Barlow picking up 2 yards. Not much of a running game at all, as Darryl pointed out last week in the win over the Rams. The 49ers gained under 2 yards a carry, 3 yards that time for Barlow. As you look at a banged-up offensive line, Jennings, Smiley, and Newberry are all nursing injuries.
And if you can't run the ball against the Philadelphia Eagles and become one-dimensional, you are in for a long afternoon, because Jim Johnston is going to bring the heat.
And you know he's going to be bringing it soon. 2nd down and 7. Barlow. And not much there. 1-yard gain will bring up 3rd down and 6. Keith Adams, Eagle linebacker, making the stop as they bring in their nickel defense. And speaking about Philadelphia's defense, here they are. Javon Curse, their chief pass rusher. N.D. Kalu healthy again. Jeremiah Trotter back in the lineup after being ejected before the Falcon game last week, and an outstanding secondary. 49ers line up 4 wide receivers. Out of the shotgun is Tim Rattay. Trying to roll out. He lost this one, but the receiver fell down. It wasn't close in any event. Went out of bounds. Johnny Morton was the intended receiver, so it'll be 4th down.
Well, Javon Curse got there awful quick. Tim Rattay didn't have much time to get set in that pocket. And, you know, worst case scenario, you've got all this momentum on the Philadelphia Eagles side. You come out and go 3 and out. And, yeah, you want to have a running game, but you can't be stubborn. You've got to find out what the Eagles are doing for you to take advantage of. Don't bang your head against a brick wall all day in that run game.
Andy Lee will kick, and Dexter Wynn goes back for the Eagles, who anticipate good field position. And it is not a good kick, and a fair catch called for on the 42-yard line of the 49ers by Reno Mahi. Only a 29-yard punt by Lee. That's not what they needed. Back to Philadelphia, 7-0. The Eagles lead on a Donovan McNabb, Terrell Owens 68-yard touchdown pass on the first possession. And they mark the ball on the 43 of San Francisco. First down, 2 tight ends. And Brian Westbrook, the running back, and he picks up maybe 2. Westbrook, who gained only 47 yards on 12 carries last week, stopped by Anthony Adams and Marcus Douglas in the new 3-4 defensive alignment that Mike Nolan is using.
He's brought what he ran in Baltimore out to San Francisco, and you know, talking to Julian Peterson, he feels confident that he can match the front 7 of the Niners up against the front 7 of the Ravens in the way they play those schemes, and that's a pretty bold statement in the confidence they have in the system at an early stage.
And he loves those linebackers, and we'll take a look at them in a moment. 2nd down and 9, and here is Westbrook trying to go outside, and he breaks one tackle but not another, and will go back to the 45-yard line. Good pressure by Julian Peterson, and a loss of 3 yards. Taking a look at this 3-4 defense, and Brian Young going from defensive tackle to defensive end, having a big game last week. But take a look at those linebackers, about as good as you'll find. Yeah,
that's going to be the strength of this group, are the linebackers across the board. And, you know, maybe they were outplayed by the secondary last week. A pleasant surprise for Mike Nolan. Got a great effort from that secondary against the wide-open St. Louis Rams offense.
3rd down and 12. Eagles on the 49ers 45. And McNabb running away from pressure. And he's going to run out of bounds. And it was Andre Carter, number 96, who pushed McNabb to run out of bounds. A loss of 2 yards, and it will go as a sack for the 49ers. So they've lost 5 yards on the last 2 plays.
Well, Andre Carter, he's a guy in the middle. He's going to come to the outside, and this is that fluid defense that you talk about. You know, you get up into the middle, the guard center gap, you're going to rest between there. Now they've got to find a way in their protection to take care of him. You don't want a running back on Andre Carter. He's too big for that. You've got to call your protection to him and follow him wherever he goes.
Fair catch called for on the short kick by Dirk Johnson, and Otis Amy will give the 49ers a decent starting position when we come back to Philadelphia. 49er defense dodged a very tough situation. Eagles with a 7-0 lead, and the ball on the 43-yard line of San Francisco in prime spot to really roll it up early. Instead, the 49ers get it back on their 27-yard line. First down. Kevin Barlow, the running back, and he goes in motion. And Rattay getting time in the pass, and it's broken up. It was Michael Lewis defending against Billy Badgema, the tight end, the rookie from Oklahoma State. Once again, Eric Johnson, who has the injured arch, not ready to play, and that will hurt the 49er offense, Darryl. Well, Johnson expected back next week against Dallas.
That's a big loss for San Francisco. You know, Eric Johnson provides an element at the tight end position that Billy Badgema is just not ready to do quite yet. And it's so important for a quarterback to have that tight end out there, and it's a good way to attack this Eagles defense. You can get some good matchups with your tight end.
2nd down and 10. Here's Barlow finding an opening. Kevin Barlow up to the 40-yard line. a gain of 14 yards. It was Barlow who had one of his best days, 154 yards and a touchdown against the Eagles 2 years ago.
I want you to keep an eye on number 40, Fred Beasley, your fullback, one of the best lead blockers in the NFL. He gets in, stones out. Look at the seam created right there by the offense of the San Francisco 49ers. Number 44, Steve Bush, does a good job getting inside, getting it sealed to create that seam right in the middle of the Eagles defense.
And rookie Frank Gore, the second-round pick from Miami, now in the backfield on 1st down and 10. The design rollout, and Rattay going the other way, and the pass is intercepted by Dhani Jones. Frank Gore, the running back, downfield, and Dhani Jones with him all the way picks it off, and the Eagles get it back.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. By E-Trade Financial. And by Diet Pepsi. Live football, drink Diet Pepsi.
Back here at the City of Brotherly Love, the Eagles lead the 49ers 7-0, just under 10 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Dick Stockton, Darryl Johnston. Tony Siragusa is here as well and has some problems with his audio equipment, and we're working to get that straightened out. 1st and 10 on the 30-yard line. Brian Westbrook back there, and there is McNabb out of the shotgun. He has some time, and he's got a receiver who had beaten the defense, and it was Greg Lewis. Let's see that interception again that gave Philadelphia the ball, the first turnover of the game.
Well, they're doing a dash to the right and then throw back to the left. Frank Gore is a rookie, and one thing he's going to learn in the NFL, there's going to be balls thrown to you that you're not going to be able to catch. You've got to come back and make sure you do not allow the interception. He didn't do anything to prevent Dhani Jones from making that interception.
And you could see that he knew that the ball was short.
Oh, sure. You got to come back and make a play on the ball. You become the defender in that situation.
Well, neither team has held the ball for more than 3 plays thus far in this game. It'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 30. Again, out of the shotgun is McNabb. He has 3 receivers and a lot of time, and he completes it to T.O., and a flag goes down, and a penalty down, and let's see if there's a late hit by Mike Rumpf. A 20-yard gain and a penalty marker down, and it's amazing how Terrell Owens held on to the ball after the hit.
I don't think it's going to be a late hit. I think it's going to be a hit on maybe a defenseless player. And they're going to have to talk about this right now, because I think Tony Parrish played this really well. The ball comes in, Terrell goes, he used his shoulder. He did not lead with the crown of his helmet. I think they need to pick this flag up. Actually, Mike Rumpf, number 24, the guy who came in and delivered the big hit. I think Mike Rumpf played this perfect.
There is no foul on this play because he's a runner at the time when he got hit. No penalty. 1st down.
Darryl, you're right on, and so no penalty, but a 20-yard gain.
There's Terrell in the SWAT. He really does a good job working through tight coverage. Watch, catches, the ability to establish himself as a runner. He's not defenseless at that point. He's gone to another action, calm into the game. Now watch Mike Rumpf, the shoulder. He used the shoulder. He didn't lead with the crown of his helmet.
Eagles at midfield, 1st down. Lamar Gordon, the big running back who gets the tough yards in for the protection purposes, and the pass out is caught by Reggie Brown. Right now for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, after throwing a pick that led to a score by Chicago, Joey Harrington comes back hooking up with Roy Williams, 51 yards for pay dirt. The point after is not good, 7-6 Bears. Take a look at Carson Palmer, 2nd touchdown of the quarter. That one there to T.J. Hushmanzada, 12 yards, 14-0 Bengals. Back to Dick, Darryl, and Tony.
All right, JB, Cincinnati off to the quick lead, and 5 yards to go for Westbrook, and he'll get the 1st down before he goes out of bounds inside the San Francisco 40, picking up 7 yards.
That perimeter edge running game, I think that's where Philadelphia is at their strength when they run the ball. Because they're a big passing team, they try to do some trick plays, some draws, some shovel passes, different things to incorporate into their running game. But when they're a straight running game team, this is one of the good plays. And you saw Darryl Owens block on Jamie Winborn, linebacker, on the outside. Good job, Darryl.
Eagles with a first down on the 37-yard line of the 49ers. Philadelphia spreading the defense with 3 wide receivers, now make it 4. And the pass caught by Owens again. And Owens is stopped 1 yard shy of the first down. And the tackle made by Shawntae Spencer. So Darryl Owens wants to answer some of those remarks by Derek Smith of the 49ers during the week, and he's doing it.
Well, you know he's going to be the go-to guy in this offense, and there's where he's at his most dangerous. Once he gets the ball in his hands, you know, the play has really begun, and Mike Adams, he's got to be aware of that. For a big physical receiver, he's got great feet, great change of direction.
Second down and 1 now on the 28. Play action. McNabb, and the pass is caught at the 6-yard line by L.J. Smith. And right now, Donovan McNabb, who doesn't look 100%, finding all of his weapons. That was a 22-yard gain. It'll be first and goal for the Eagles.
Well, I think we can really, eliminate the fact, is there any problem with Donovan McNabb throwing the football? This is a tremendous throw. L.J. Smith comes all the way across the field. Donovan buys some time, but watch where he fits this. Right on the sideline. Great job by L.J. Smith to tap it. Look at the 3 defenders right around him. There was not a lot of room there to fit that ball in.
First and goal at the 6-yard line. Eagles leading 7-0. McNabb up the middle. Touchdown to L.J. Smith. A 6-yard touchdown strike to the Eagles tight end, and it's 13-0.
Andy Reid wanted to establish a better rhythm with his play calling today. He's really kind of slipping into his zone right now. And this is just an impressive drive. After the one with the big play, L.J. Smith comes open in the middle of the field. I mean, he's one of the guys you're looking for in the red zone.
So Philadelphia unable to score the last time when they had the ball in 49er territory. Make good on this occasion. And David Akers, who missed 2 field goals, rare for him Monday night in Atlanta, connects on his second point after. And the Eagles now lead the 49ers 14-0.
What a good play design. You're going to pull this guy into the coverage. This guy's back. There's your 2 defenders. Here's L.J. Smith on the wing. Everything gets cleared out, and there's a tremendous void right in the middle. You've got your linebacker running to get to Westbrook. Your safety jumps on the first tight end. They sneak him right across. Nobody there in coverage. Good play design by Andy Reid and Brad Childress.
Donovan McNabb went 5 for 6 for 62 yards on the drive. 70 yards in 7 plays. Capped by the touchdown pass to L.J. Smith. Akers on the kickoff, and Maurice Hicks from the 1-yard line. And he is bottled up at the 20 as the 49ers try to get something going. A 19-yard return. Next week, the NFL on Fox. It is week 3, and the Buccaneers against the Green Bay Packers. Packers at Lambeau, Cowboys and 49ers. So the 49ers go back home where they beat the Rams last week against Dallas. Eagles have won the last 14 games that they have thrown 2 or more touchdown passes, and they've already done that in leading 14-0. '49ers on the 20-yard line. Arnaz Battle going in motion, and the flip to Kevin Barlow, and Barlow will end up getting 1 yard because of the forward progress, and it was Hollis Thomas who made the tackle. Thomas gets the starting assignment. Corey Simon now with the Indianapolis Colts. A 1-yard pickup, and it'll be second down and 9.
Hollis Thomas, always been a great run defender for the Eagles. Kind of funny, for a while there they couldn't stop the run because they couldn't get Hollis Thomas healthy and in the lineup. But now that he's out there, they're wondering how they're going to stop the run. I think they're going to be fine with the big man down there.
10th year in the league on second down. Here's Barlow, who has been able to break 1 thus far. Brings it out to the 25 for a 4-yard pickup. And once again, Hollis Thomas, the man who makes the play.
Well, he's going to come out and get a little bit of a breather right now. He's not out there to rush the passer. He's there to clog up the middle on 1st and 2nd down. You bring in your pass specialist right now, get a rush on Tim Rattay and those great cover guys in the secondary for the Eagles.
Mike Patterson, the #1 draft pick out of USC, who looked good from day one and played on a couple of national championship teams. Number 98 is in there at defensive tackle on 3rd and 5.
Here's Javon Curse out here. We'll see how he does. It's going to be an interesting matchup with Quaim Harris.
And here comes the pressure from the secondary, and a great catch by Brandon Lloyd. And I don't think he got enough for the 1st down. He did not get out of bounds. The clock still runs, and maybe short by a yard. Michael Lewis with a terrific play in the secondary.
Well, Javon Curse using the speed to try and get to the outside on Quaim Harris. Doesn't quite get there. Tim Rattay able to step up, and what a catch by Brandon Lloyd. This is amazing. One hand. I cannot tell you how that he had a catch. What was that, last year, 2 years ago? We did one of their games, and he had a catch at the end of the game that I thought was one of the most amazing things. He might have topped that with that one right there.
Right on the tip of the ball. Sheldon Brown, however, prevented the 1st down. And Andy Lee kicking on 4th down to Dexter Wynn from the 25. Wynn is tripped up and will get out to the 31-yard line. Well, we've all seen the devastating effects of Hurricane Katrina along the Gulf Coast. And if you want to help the victims, you can make donations by going to www.salvationarmyusa.org or call 800-SAL-ARMY, S-A-L Army. You can also go to www.redcross.org or call 800-HELP-NOW. If you experience delays, please be patient because so many people are trying to contact
number 80,
these organizations.
Receiving team during the kick, the penalty enforced from where the kick ended.
So the main thing here is that there are a lot of agencies trying to help. Be patient and get your contribution in. Holding called against Billy McMullen will set the Eagles back.
Might be the first thing they've done wrong all afternoon. He's pleading his case, too. He wants a perfect afternoon so far.
Well, the Eagles coming off what Andy Reid would say was a bad game for them, including himself, he admitted, on a lot of the play calling decisions. Not the way you want to start the season, but Andy's used to this. He's lost 5 of his 7 opening games in his career, but I guess it's how you finish, not how you start, the way it's gone for him.
Yeah, and he's followed that up with 3-3 week 2, but the thing that I thought was surprising was I didn't think they ever matched Atlanta's intensity on Monday night, and that has not been the case today. They've really come out and from the opening kickoff played with great emotion.
From the 15, 1st down, and the swing pass to Josh Parry, and the only fullback active for the Eagles picks up 6 yards to the 21-yard line where Jamie Winborn brings him down.
John Ritchie, not on the team this year, came back from an ACL. Sad to see him not playing in the NFL on Sunday afternoons this year, but it gives an opportunity for Josh Parry, a guy who filled in for John last year.
And for you, 2 teams that like to use fullbacks.
Well, actually, we've kind of got 3 on San Francisco, so that kind of makes up for Philadelphia only having 1. So I'm still at 4, you know, the average. But
2nd down and 4, Lamar Gordon. And he gets the 1st down. Good pickup by the Eagles, who, of course, playing without Correll Buckhalter, who had knee surgery, is out for the season. And the tackle made by Peterson.
Lamar Gordon, some good feet right there to the outside. Might give an assist to the umpire. Forces him back inside. You want to be an official in the NFL, don't pick umpire. There's so many big guys down there.
Eagles now on their own 32-yard line. 3:45 remaining in the 1st. Gordon remains as the running back. Play action. Going against the grain, and wide open is L.J. Smith. A busy man today in the Eagles offense. You know about T.O., they got a touchdown from him early, but L.J. Smith playing a big role, picks up 23 yards before Winborn makes the play.
But, you know, the strength of Donovan McNabb's arm allows them to do these types of play. He's running to his right. It looks like San Francisco may have a shot. They've got Jeff Albrecht chasing him out of the pocket, and he turns around and he can throw it all the way across the field, just kind of hopping into it and just tossing it to the backside. Some things that as a quarterback coach you would probably say, all right, guys, watch Donovan McNabb. Very exciting, but don't ever do any of these things.
He has completed 9 of 11, has McNabb. And Smith has caught 4 passes. They send Westbrook wide to the left, but going the other way to T.O. Terrell Owens, and hemmed in, will go out of bounds shy of the 40-yard line. A 4-yard pickup with Ahmed Plummer defending him.
Smart decision by T.O. He's got 4 guys coming from the inside out. I don't know, no sense in proving your toughness right there.
But Owens going over the 100-yard mark for the 2nd straight game. But this time, unlike Monday night, he has a touchdown reception. 2nd down and 6. On the San Francisco 41. And movement on the right side of the line.
Number 73, offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains. 2nd down.
A penalty on Sean Andrews, who returned to the lineup last Monday exactly 1 year after breaking his right leg, and there was the move.
That's a big addition to the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. We did the opening game last year, and as a rookie, he was off to a great start before he broke that leg. He could be a real dominant inside offensive lineman in the NFL.
2nd down and 11. 46-yard line. Everyone going out on the pass route. Pass caught by L.J. Smith. What a move by Smith. And they ruled that he was down by contact at the 33-yard line. So no fumble. Tony Parrish on the defense. So 13 more yards for Smith, who now has 5 catches for 68 yards in the game. And we are still in the first quarter.
You know, everybody talks about Philadelphia kind of getting unbalanced between the pass run, but you know, they're bringing in players to fit into this style of offense. And L.J. Smith, your tight end, I mean, you saw the athletic ability of him right there after the catch. And they've got multiple guys on this offense that when you get them out in space after the catch can make yards.
First down on the 33. Good protection once again from McNabb, and the pass thrown underneath. Good for about 8 yards, and a penalty flag is down. It was L.J. Smith, and that was an 8-yard pickup pending the call.
We talked about the loss of Eric Johnston and what it means. You can see how important the tight end is to your quarterback. L.J. Smith off to a great start. You know, Tim Rattay would love to have Eric Johnston healthy today.
Offsides against the 49ers. It'll be a first down for the Eagles. Between Terrell Owens and L.J. Smith, they have gained 177 yards, just those 2 receivers thus far.
Yeah, they haven't even gotten to Westbrook in the progression yet. Wait till he starts to find his fit in this offense this afternoon.
Offside. Number 38, lined up in the neutral zone. Penalty is declined. Take the result of the play. 2nd down.
Penalty declined, and Mike Nolan looking to see number 38, and
he's going to be looking a long time.
Won't find one. They have a 28, Keith Lewis, not a 38. But who's counting? 2nd down and 2.
Doing a lot of different formations with Terrell Owens, getting him inside, keeping him inside.
There's the fade, and the play is broken up nicely. Lewis, the intended receiver, was defended by Shawntae Spencer. It was first down on that last play before the penalty was marked off. So now it'll be 3rd down and 2 for the Eagles.
When you have a guy like Terrell Owens and you can move him around the formation, that's when you get into your matchup problems. And for a defense, I mean, you've got to be so aware when you break the huddle, because you've got to find L.J. Smith, you've got to find Terrell Owens, you've got to find Brian Westbrook. And then you've got to get the right guys on them in coverage, because all 3 of those guys at any point can take the ball all the way for 6.
McNabb completed 8 in a row before that last incompletion. 3rd and 2 at the 25. McNabb getting a little pressure here, and the pass is incomplete, trying to go to Terrell Owens. It would have been enough for the first down, couldn't hold on. So 4th down coming up, and Akers will come on to try a field goal.
You see, he's off to such a great start, but you can see the frustration right there, and it's so important to keep those chains moving, give yourself an opportunity. You've really jumped out quickly on top of San Francisco, but one of the things a championship team has to do is put away opponents early. You don't want anybody hanging around just in case you have a turnover that results in a touchdown or a special teams play that results in a touchdown.
43-yard attempt for Akers with Floyd Detmer the holder. And the kick is no good. It hit the upright and bounced out. So this has been a strange start for the normally accurate David Akers, who has missed 3 out of 4 so far this year.
That is unheard of. I mean, this is, I think, your second most accurate active kicker in the NFL. I mean, you kind of put him right behind Anna Vinatieri of the New England Patriots as a guy you want out there in a critical kick.
And you brought out a great point. You know, you're up 14-0, and things look very good in the first quarter, but all you need is one touchdown to cut it to 14-7, and you do give the Niners a momentum. And this was a club that is really willing to pull out all the stops to try to get that score, as we saw last week with
shovel passes, flea flickers. You know, they're not afraid to dip into the archives of the playbook. And yeah, you don't want a team like this hanging around late in the game.
First down on the 33 after the 43-yard miss by Akers. Here is Barlow, and after a delay, moves up and picks up 4 yards. Javon Curse making the stop on him. Under a minute remaining in the first quarter, Eagles in front 14-0.
And you look at it from the opposite side of that spectrum, and San Francisco takes the field as an offense that's really struggled entire first quarter. But, you know, we're not out of it yet. You know, Philadelphia hasn't really, you know, nailed it down. So let's hang in there. Let's try and get something positive. And they also got to give their defense a rest. They only had 40-something snaps last week. They're off to a slow start again this week.
Second down and 6 at the 37. Barlow can't get much going. Couple of yards for Kevin Barlow. And third down coming up. Jim Johnson dialing up the defenses, and when he was looking at the 49ers offense, all he had to do was look at old films of the New Orleans Saints where Mike McCarthy was the defensive coordinator, and he was impressed with McCarthy. Time has run out, and after the first quarter, the Eagles lead the 49ers 14-0. Welcome back to Philadelphia. We start the second quarter, and you're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in HD and presented by DirecTV. Rethink TV. 14-0 in favor of the Eagles. Third down and 5 for the 49ers out of the shotgun. And Rattay's pass, and it is broken up. It was very close between Sheldon Brown and Arnaz Battle, but it was Brown had battled the battle and knocked it away, so it's fourth down and a punting situation.
You couldn't help yourself, could you?
I thought about it. So far, Mike Nolan's 49ers have run off 11 plays to 21 for the Eagles. So you talk about their defense being on the field a lot, and they're headed there again. Andy Lee will kick, and Dexter Wynn back at the 16 for the Eagles.
Puts them on pace for the same total as last week.
Didn't have the ball much then either. You mentioned statistical battle won by the Rams, turnover battle won by the Rams, game won by the Niners, and Adams with a great play, and Wynn is trapped inside the 10-yard line. So Adams, the hero defensively last week with that interception in the fourth quarter, makes a great special teams tackle.
Good plays by both guys. Dexter Wynn fields the punt, prevents it from going deep into Eagles territory. Mike Adams, a good tackle, but watch right here. Ow, ow, ow.
Well, if the 49ers want to come back in this game, they've got the Eagles on the 9-yard line, and Brian Westbrook brings it out, a 3-yard pickup on the play. Tony Siragusa, think we got your audio problems fixed up. What's your observation so far?
Well, just being down here on the field, Donovan McNabb, you know, I know he has that shirt with the Superman powers in it that's going to protect his chest, but I think he must have gave a nice incentive to this offensive line. They're doing a tremendous job of keeping the pressure off him. Right now, I'm about 15 yards behind him. No pressure on him at all. He's sort of like he's just standing back there trying to pick his receiver. He has a lot to pick and choose from and just running a nice, easy day offense. No pressure is what I can tell from down here.
No question. L.J. Smith already has a career high with 6 catches. Second down and 7 from the 12. McNabb with the slant to Westbrook in the first down. So everything the Eagles are trying almost is working. That is a 12-yard pickup to the 24, tackled by Spencer.
You really get yourself in trouble when you've got multiple weapons. That's Shawntae Spencer, your starting cornerback on Brian Westbrook, and he just kind of makes him look silly out there on a slant. You know, he's not the guy. You split a running back out and you think, well, he's just going to run a go route. He's going to do something down the field. Brian Westbrook can probably run every route in the Philly offense. So you got to be aware of him anywhere on the field.
That was his first catch of the game, Darryl, and a first down on the 24. And McNabb is going to run the ball, and Westbrook trying to break it outside, and does. Westbrook getting to midfield and tackled in 49er territory by Julian Peterson, who can run, and a big gain by Westbrook of 31 yards, and the Eagles in business again.
Well, we've seen L.J. Smith in the passing game, but if you're going to run on the perimeter, you got to have a good block by your tight end. Good position, good battle at the line of scrimmage with Julian Peterson. Good lead block from Josh Perry. And there it is. You know, we talked about it. I think that this is a good team running on the perimeter. I don't know about them up inside. You get that zone scheme, let Brian Westbrook stretch the defense, and then pick where he wants to go.
So another 10 or more yard rush. And here is McNabb with plenty of time. He's going up top, and the pass is knocked away, intended for Greg Lewis and Shawntae Spencer. You talked about his skills as a cornerback as he moved Rump to free safety, and he played that perfectly.
He really did, and he's one of those guys from last week that really played well in the secondary against the St. Louis Rams. He's in perfect position, a little bit of a trail there. Look at him look back to pick up the flight of the ball, and then a great play on the ball to knock it away from Greg Lewis.
And only the 5th incompletion in 18 attempts by Donovan McNabb.
They're going to want to keep his sternum bruised all season long if he plays this good with this injury.
Right now the Eagles, as you see the yards per play, have passed 21 times, run only 6. That's the way Andy Reid likes it. He's going to run this time to Westbrook and runs into a wall and is stopped by Andre Carter after a 3-yard pickup.
It's just hard because the people you have on your offense, even your offensive line, you know, I think the Eagles offensive line, they're better pass blockers than they are run blockers. And you have some offenses that are like that. You look at the Baltimore Ravens, they're better run blockers than pass blockers. Andy Reid plays to the strength of his offensive group, and that is throwing the football down the field. And he doesn't hide, or you know, he's very open about the fact that, hey, I know I'm not, you know, my ratio is bad, but you know, that's what we do. This is what this offense is about.
You got to give some of the credit also to the San Francisco 49ers defensive line, Moose. They're doing a great job of playing the run, not getting muss on the pass rush, but
T.O. touchdown.
They are.
Flag is down. Penalty marker down. Back at the 30-yard line.
Illegal contact. Number 56. And the defense penalty is declined. Touchdown.
That's Brandon Moore. Illegal contact. The touchdown will count for 42 yards.
Again, they've got Terrell Owens in close on the formation, but watch the throw by Donovan McNabb, the touch that he has shown today on some of these throws. You had the one on the earlier drive to L.J. Smith on the sideline. He's got 2 defenders in pretty good position, and he drops it right over their shoulders to Terrell Owens.
5 catches, 143 yards, and 2 touchdowns already for Terrell Owens. David Akers giving the Eagles a 21-0 lead. And we have seen Owens do that before against Jeff Garcia and the Browns, against the Ravens. Now he's doing it against the Eagles, against the 49ers. And there's Terrell Owens. Derek Smith, the 49er linebacker, said he was a bad apple when he was there. Selfish, promoted himself at the expense of the team. And T.O. this week said, I have no clue who Derek Smith is. Well, he's been an outstanding linebacker for many years. But Owens' answer, his 2nd touchdown catch of the game, and it's 21-0.
You know, love him or hate him, you have to respect the way he plays when he puts his helmet on and gets out on the field on Sunday afternoons.
Well, we saw that in the Super Bowl after suffering the broken leg, coming back in 7 weeks to play against the Patriots. Maurice Hicks, returning the kickoff, fights his way close to the 30-yard line. And there is Akers holding on to the back of his thigh. Let's see if that's a problem.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by the spacious Ford 500, built for the road ahead.
21-0, and not really surprising, Darryl, because the Eagles look like they responded from that Monday night tough game in the 49ers. Well, remember, they were still 2-14 last year.
Yeah, this was the potential that we had this afternoon. And, you know, they've answered some of the questions. You know, San Francisco, what do you want to be offensively? We want to be based around a strong running game. That hasn't materialized yet. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, is what happened on Monday just one of those freak things? Or were the distractions in the offseason affecting you more than people, or more than you wanted to let on? And there we go again. It doesn't seem to be the case.
Lito Shepherd. And he may get in there, but he is knocked out of bounds at the 2-yard line by Jeremy Newberry. A 34-yard interception return by Lito Shepherd, and that's the second turnover of the game. Eagle defense making its presence felt here in the first half.
Just a bad throw by Tim Rattay. He's got Johnny Morton there. He's trying to get it to the outside because he's got the coverage, but he puts it a little bit too far outside. Lito Shepherd's right there to pick the ball off and almost get 6 for the Philly defense.
First and goal, and the Eagles are going in again, apparently. So the 49ers continue the longest active NFL streak with a turnover, 24 straight games. First and goal at the 2. Westbrook goes in motion. McNabb has Westbrook. He's got the touchdown. 2-yard pass, so McNabb has thrown 3-4 today.
Here's Brian Westbrook right here. Watch how slow the motion is to get into him. Julian Peterson, you got to get going. He's already got you outflanked. You're beat because you've got receivers coming from the other direction to try and cloud your path to get out there. Slow reaction by Julian Peterson allows Brian Westbrook to win that route immediately.
And they're going to go for 2. And remember, we saw Akers limping off of the field before. So doesn't appear that he is ready to kick. So now they come back to talk to Andy Reid, and Reid may call a timeout here to discuss exactly what play they want to run. And here is Akers, and not sure what the injury was when he came off, but he's pointing to it right now on the stretcher.
Well, it looked like it might have been hamstring, up high in that hamstring. And boy, we've got a lot of kickers going down this season already. It's been a big issue throughout the first couple weeks of season. Some of these and the kickers are becoming more and more important every week, every season. As the parity shrinks it down and the margin of the victories becomes tighter and tighter. Philadelphia, David Akers has been a great weapon for them on their runs.
Remember Jason Hanson of the Lions, injured last week. So they are an important factor of the team. So they're getting ready for the 2-point conversion as Akers not able to kick.
You've got Coy Detmer out there. They were trying to get Mark Simoneau. I think Mark Simoneau is going to be your backup kicker. This is awesome.
Former Atlanta Falcon lost his starting job.
Oh, he's even going soccer style. Get out of here.
Maybe he played soccer as a kid. Here's the extra point.
Yeah.
And the kick is good.
I love it.
Mark Simoneau with the extra point. And it's 28-0. What an opening game this has been for the Eagles.
Hey, Mike Vrabel for the Patriots. You think you're versatile? Watch what this linebacker does.
Roy, I know you can understand.
No problem, automatic. And now we got Mike Bartram's going to be the kickoff guy. So we got specialists. You got Mark Simoneau. I'll handle all the field goals and extra points, but you got to do all the kickoffs.
You know,
Mike.
when Simoneau came in the game, I was thinking of Mike Vrabel at the Super Bowl. Maybe they had a 2-point conversion with him. And there is Bartram doing the best he can. And the kick fielded at the 19 by Otis Amy. Runs into his own man and now stopped at the 35-yard line. And right now for game break, let's return to JB.
Hey, Dick, an anemic Chicago offense looking to get points in other ways. Well, take a look here at Bobby Wade on this punt return here. Hey, you know what? We'll take the scores however we can get it. 73 yards. Bobby Wade takes it in. Bears looking to snap a 3-game losing streak to the Lions on top 17-6 in the second. Back to Dick Stockton.
We had Chicago last week, and they actually made Bobby Wade inactive to get Carl Ford up for his special teams. And I didn't know if that was such a great idea because Bobby took one back in the preseason, too. And the Chicago Bears, as JB mentioned, they're going to need points any way they can find them.
First and 10 at the 35 for the 49ers. Tim Rattay, only 1 of 6, will hand off to Frank Gore, and a flag is down. So the 49ers mustering no offense today and a false start.
False start. Number 66, offense.
Eric Heitman, the right guard, a 5-yard penalty.
First down.
So let's check what's been happening in this game by the numbers. We know the big one, 28-0. And in the rushing department, the Eagles have the big edge thanks to Westbrook.
But if you're a San Francisco 49er fan, the bad one, first downs, you might want to start turning away because they're going to start to get away from you right there. The rushing, relatively close, but everything else.
Well, it's 28-0, and you know where the numbers are going to lie. Gore remains in there, and here is Rattay gets hit, and the pass is incomplete. So pressure put on. Arnaz Battle covered by Sheldon Brown, and pressure put on by the Eagles. Again, the quarterback rating. Rattay had a great one, 141 last week. He's at 0 right now. And the 49ers committing 2 turnovers, the interception by Dhani Jones and Lito Shepard, and they both resulted in touchdowns. 2nd and 15. San Francisco on their 30. They don't know what hit them today in their first road game. Here's Frank Gore with his best run and gets up to the 36-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Niners.
Well, you know, the St. Louis Rams, they probably went back last Monday and watched that film and were trying to figure out how they lost that game. But you got to give credit where credit is due. And the San Francisco 49ers found a way to win. Sometimes it's not pretty, but that's not important, especially when you're trying to turn a franchise around like Mike Nolan is right now. He's got him headed in the right direction. At this point, this is a big bump in the road for this team, but Philadelphia has really come out, and they want to make amends for that performance against Atlanta last Monday night.
3rd down and 9. Rattay on the run, and the pass is no good. It's out of bounds, incomplete at the 45-yard line. Brandon Lloyd.
I think they're going to overrule it. They're going to say he was forced out and give him the catch.
Lito Shepard on the coverage.
And once you rule force out, you can't go back and review it. So we'll see if they leave it open-ended so they can clean it up.
And it was about 8 or 9 yards. 9 would get them the first down. Tom White.
The ruling on the field that this is a catch with a force out, and it's a first down.
So the 49ers catch a break there, and a first down for them on the 45-yard line, and that was good with the officials helping each other.
Well, his knee is down anyways. I don't know. It's a question of whether Brandon Lloyd had possession at that point when his knee was on the sideline, but by them ruling force out, there is no review. But better off to rule it incomplete and let Mike Nolan challenge it if he wanted to.
Less than 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter, and here comes the direct snap to Arnaz Battle. They showed that last week, but the Eagles, obviously studying in the films, came up with an answer, and a gain of 1 or 2 yards as Darwin Walker and Andy Kalu pursued the play nicely. Battle, who were recruited at Notre Dame as a quarterback and wore actually Joe Montana's old number, 3.
See the direct snap. Here comes the pitch man around from the outside. Arnaz Battle looking for somebody to get it to there on the outside. But let me tell you, if you're going to go into your bag of tricks, it better be something new, because Jim Johnston is going to have his guys prepared for anything you did last week.
2nd down and 9, and there is the quick to Battle. He gets by 1 defender, and Arnaz Battle getting about 7 yards or 8. Lito Shepard first missed them, and they'll mark it down as a 6-yard pickup to the 49-yard line of the Eagles. Battle with a career high 5 catches. Third down. 49ers need 4 yards. This is the first time that the 49ers have gotten into Eagle territory this afternoon. And Rattay's pass, and it's picked off at the 40-yard line as the receiver slipped, and bringing the ball back to the 44-yard line is Brian Gardner. Check that. Roderick Hood on the interception. An easy one for him. He returns it 17 yards.
You see at the top of the route right there, Brandon Lloyd is going to the outside. It's thrown back behind him, and he slips. So I'm going to put that one on Tim Rattay. Both his interceptions have been throws that have gotten away from him. I don't know if that was a miscommunication, if he's just supposed to stop that and come back to the ball, but whatever the reason, whatever the cause, boy, they crossed into Philadelphia Eagle territory by 1 yard, and they got one play over there.
Well, you're saying the Eagles are playing like NFC champions. You say, well, they're playing the 49ers, but there was no guarantee that they would respond the way they have after that Atlanta loss. Play action for McNabb. All day to throw, and the pass caught at the 30 by Greg Lewis. It'll be a first down for the Eagles, a pickup of 13.
Well, you're trying to do a number of different things when you're defending this group. You want to bring pressure sometimes and try and disrupt the timing, make Donovan McNabb feel uncomfortable. That time, they elected to just rush 3 defenders and drop the other 8 guys back into coverage, but they generated no pressure. And it's going to be difficult to get it with 3, but you've got to get there a little while. There's too many weapons on the outside. Donovan McNabb is going to find somebody open.
He has thrown 4 touchdown passes on the delay to Westbrook, and he is wrestled down by Jeff Ulbrich. If you look at the quarterback comparison, Rattay completing only 3 passes, 2 on the last series. McNabb, great percentage, and over 250 yards and 4 touchdown passes. So Rattay struggling with 3 interceptions, and not all of them would be his fault. That was a 6-yard pickup, and it'll be second down and 4 for the Eagles on the 24 of San Francisco. Lamar Gordon deep in the backfield for Philadelphia. Here's Gordon. Driving for the first down. It'll be close. Knocked out of bounds by Ulbrich.
They had both the running backs out there at the same time. Actually had Brian Westbrook out in the slot, and knows how valuable it is to have a guy blocking out on the outside. He does a nice job. Matched up against the linebacker on the outside, helps Lamar Gordon turn the corner.
And it'll be close on the measurement. Remember, that yellow line is unofficial. Eagles have a first down. 28-0 in favor of the Eagles as they're trying to capitalize on the 3rd turnover of this first half by the 49ers. They were able to score touchdowns on the previous 2. And a field day thus far for number 5, McNabb, despite coming into the game with a bruised chest.
I think Tony might be right. I think that that stuff he's wearing underneath it kind of looks like a superhero symbol anyways. They must have some mojo in there.
Well, he is Superman the way he's gone so far. 1st and 10 at the 20. And the handoff to Westbrook, and nothing doing. And the 49ers, Julian Peterson was there to make the play. A loss of 5 yards on the play. Peterson glad to be back after missing most of last year with a torn Achilles tendon.
It's kind of that fluid defense again. There's Julian Peterson. He and Jeff Ulbrich, they're back and forth, frees him up. It's an inside handoff right there. Good defense called at that time for that play by the San Francisco 49ers.
Second down and 15. Nearly 6.5 minutes remaining in the first half. In motion, Steven Spock, and rolling out and looking. McNabb, and the pass caught by Greg Lewis out of bounds. And maybe within a yard of the first down. A 14-yard pickup to Greg Lewis.
This is a good call by Andy Reid. This is Steven Spock, a backup tight end. Here's L.J. Smith, another tight end. Lamar Gordon's in as your running back. Brian Westbrook's not on the field. I'm thinking run. Good play action. Look at the flow of the San Francisco 49ers. They've got Terrell Owens deep on the sideline, and here comes Greg Lewis all the way across the field from the other side. Andy Reid is getting into that rhythm that he talked about. You see, you drag that guy all the way across the field, and he comes right into Donovan McNabb's line of sight on that boot.
3rd down and 1. McNabb's pass caught, first down by L.J. Smith. Already a career gain for Smith. He picks up 8 yards there. And Smith with his 7th catch of the game, 1st and goal.
Now you got him split out wide, bring him back in on a little bit of motion. He's matched up against Tony Parrish there, but comes in, runs a little whip route. And then he's got a cornerback coming over the top to help him out. Just too many guys. I mean, on Mike Plummer's your starting corner. He's inside working on your tight end. Well, it's got to give you fits as a defense trying to slow these guys down. You're not going to stop them, but just to slow them down.
And we thought that the Eagles' problems, if any today, would be on the offensive side of the ball. It hasn't. Of course, they have benefited by 3 turnovers. Handoff to Westbrook. Being chased by Julian Peterson. And finally is tackled by Jamie Winborn. So I'll tell you what, the 49ers may be down 28-0, but their defense keeps coming. That was a 9-yard loss.
No, they believe in what Mike Nolan is preaching. They bought into it real early, and they believe. There is not going to be any quit in these guys. Julian Peterson comes in. He's chasing him around. Jamie Winborn gets his helmet taken off, and he's not slowing down. Look at that. He lowers his head without the helmet. You're up 28-0, but you better be ready to play all 60 minutes. These guys are trying to turn this thing around, and you're not going to get any quit from them. Mike Nolan will not accept that.
2nd and goal, back on the 12-yard line. And McNabb getting flushed from the pocket, loses the ball. Fumble and a tussle for the ball, and Marcus Douglas battling Trey Thomas, and it's going to come out in the hands of the 49ers. It was Marcus Douglas, the former Baltimore Raven, who played under Mike Nolan there, who makes the recovery after Anthony Adams forced the turnover.
Donovan McNabb's trying to switch the ball, just kind of loses it. Marcus Douglas is right there. The way they beat the St. Louis Rams last week was their red zone defense. They were outstanding once St. Louis got into that part of the field. And 2 big plays right there. They stuff the running play to Brian Westbrook, turn it into a negative yardage situation, force Philadelphia back into the passing game, and then create the turnover.
So a loss of 14 yards and a sack, and they get the ball back when the Eagles had 1st and goal. So the 49ers with 4:14 remaining in the first half give the ball to Frank Gore, the rookie from Miami, turning the corner, and Dawkins pushes him out of bounds after a good game. Now, you may be wondering about David Akers, who missed a field goal and came off nursing a hamstring pull, and that is what he has right now. His return is questionable.
That's going to be a tough one because he came off the field. He was grabbing it up high, so boy, that could be a big blow for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's been a big part. He's off to a slow start this year. But let me tell you, it's going to be tough to find a kicker out there on the market right now because there have been so many injuries around the league.
2nd and 4 at the 32. 6-yard pickup, and again, Gore. And Gore may be a yard short. Gain of 3.
Guys, good to hear you. You guys have been doing a great job there, but I'm back.
Actually, it's better to hear you. I know you've been able to hear us all the time.
I'm back. You guys are doing a good job there. We're watching a pretty good game down here. San Francisco, you mentioned about their defense doing a great job and getting this turnover, and now their offense is trying to put something together. I know they want to establish the run, but they got to understand they're down by 28 points. And I think, looking back at Tim Rattay and watching his 2 interceptions, I think he's trying to rush the ball and trying to force it in, Moose, more on the field here than maybe you guys could see because of the pressure he's getting from the Philadelphia's defense.
Well, it's never an enviable position to be in when you're out there against this Eagle defense, and that's Mike McCarthy, the offensive coordinator, cading up from the New Orleans Saints. But here's a big thing, that's 3rd and short. You're trying to get more opportunities, and if you want to have that strong running game, you've got to be able to convert those.
And measuring, Gore is going to be short by a yard, so it will be 4th down. Mike Nolan's team trailing with about 3 minutes remaining in the half, 28-0. But you don't get the first down, and it turns into a disaster early. 28-0, as you said, you want to hang in there. You never know when the turnover occurs. So Andy Lee is on to punt. Dexter Wynn goes back deep.
That was back at 14-0 now. I don't know what you do at 28-0. You hope it doesn't get any more out of hand.
Dexter Wynn. Flag down. And Wynn is brought down at the 35-yard line by Mike Adams, but there's a flag back at the 20. Tom White with a long run back to the 35-yard line to explain the call.
Holding, number 34, during the return. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
Reno Mahe, number 34, right here.
Reno Mahe, one of their real good special teams player, backup running back, does a lot of different things, really fits that mold of the Philadelphia Eagle running back. Good in the running game, but very flexible in the passing game.
Well, tomorrow night on Fox, catch an all-new episode of TV's biggest new thriller, Prison Break. Escape is only the beginning. Tomorrow night at 9, 8 Central, right here on Fox. And, of course, we all take a look at the shows. We enjoy many of them, but I think Prison Break is something special. Just we had an opportunity to take a look at one of the episodes. And a very effective show. 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Back on their 14-yard line following the penalty with 2:43 to go in the half. Brian Westbrook off the left side and picks up about a yard.
Philadelphia's got to maintain their momentum because I think that they would really like to be able to get Donovan McNabb out of this game at some point. And the more they continue to play at this level and get ahead of the San Francisco 49ers, maybe they can get him on the sideline, prevent any opportunity for him to re-aggravate that injury that was such a concern this week.
There you see some of the overflow throng here in Philadelphia. Pretty good vantage point up there as a great crowd on hand for the home opener for the NFC defending champions, trying to come back after the loss to Atlanta. You know, the Falcons feel very good about themselves after that win, and the Eagles licking their wounds, trying to even their record. But so far, they look like they have responded in kind. 2-minute warning, 28-0 the score. He's got the first down inside the 30-yard line, and a flag is down. Penalty marker down.
Hank Fraley, I think, is going to get an unnecessary roughness down there trying to light somebody up around the pile. They've been watching that for a couple of years. This is a team that was notorious for it.
11-yard pickup pending the call. Last week, the 49ers gave up 405 yards. As you mentioned, outgained by a huge margin, but they didn't let the Rams get into the end zone.
Holding, number 86, offense, 10-yard penalty, remains third down.
That's Reggie Brown, the wide receiver, rookie, called for holding.
I thought they were going to get Hank with that little shove right there at the end of the play.
Hank's doing little nasty bad things down here.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of that in him.
Standing around the pile with him.
There's the total defense, and 405 last week, and the Eagles already up to 334 against the 49ers. And we have a minute left in the first half. Lamar Gordon into the game. Third down and 2 for the Eagles. In front 28-0. The 49ers have been in Philadelphia territory only once, and that was briefly in this game. Here's Gordon. And Gordon very close to the first down. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats. So the clock runs. 45 seconds remaining in the half. Eagles in front of the 49ers 28-0. The 49ers beat the Eagles 2 years ago here in Philadelphia. 49ers are managing a 1-7 road record in each of the last 2 years. Lewis coming in motion. And Westbrook breaks a tackle, gets a first down, and drives his way out to the 44-yard line. So all the weapons coming through today. Darryl Owens with a couple of touchdown receptions. 18 yards on that clip for Westbrook. And a timeout called by the Eagles, so they are not finished on the day. Westbrook, by the way, 65 yards in this first half.
Well, that is an interesting call by Andy Reid.
8 seconds on the clock.
Donovan McNabb normally would have the arm strength to probably get you a shot into the end zone from here. But with the injury, you know, I don't know if you really want him to get back there and take a big heave. So,
well, you know, Mark Semino's a great kicker, but that was only an extra point. I don't think he'll try one from 40.
Well, 40. I mean, we're going the other way. He's going to have to make this one from what, 67?
Right.
We're going for the record. First day on the job, go set an NFL record.
18 completions. So very accurate first half for McNabb, and a passer rating through the roof.
But why isn't that perfect? You see, I mean, Roethlisberger was perfect last week, and I mean, to me, that's perfect.
8 seconds to go, and Westbrook changing directions, and that should do it. And that is the end of the first half. The Philadelphia Eagles lead the San Francisco 49ers by a score of 28-0. Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Visa halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
The Visa Halftime Report is sponsored by Visa. With Visa, you're protected.
All right, for those of you watching San Francisco, Philadelphia, Minnesota, Cincinnati, all right, let's get you caught up on all that is taking place here. Yes, indeed. Donovan McNabb supposed to be hurt, TB.
Well, he is hurt, but you know what? Some folks just like to play hurt, and they play awfully well. There it is, McNabb back, scrambling. Who does he hit? Darryl Owens. Darryl Owens takes it in from 60 yards out. Touchdown, Eagles up 7-0. McNabb then will come back again. Remember now, these 49ers want to get a piece of T.O. You got to get your hands on him to get a piece of him. 42-yard strike. Excellent throw there by McNabb. It's 21-0. Then Eagles kicker David Akers leaves with a hamstring pull after another McNabb touchdown pass. You see place kicker Mark Simono, he nails the extra point, and it is 28-0 Eagles over the visiting 49ers. That's Simono. My bad. That's okay. That's Joey Harrington of the Detroit Lions working up, warming up, and Harrington then intercepting Thomas Jones 3-yard touchdown run, makes the Bears up by 7. Then Harrington coming back after the interception, the takeoff route to Roy Williams, 51-yarder, 7-6 after the Lions missed the extra point. Then second quarter, Bobby Wade takes this punt. Couple of nice moves, takes it down the sideline. He takes off, Jimmy. 73-yard punt return touchdown. Hello, Bears up 17-6. Harrington then looking for Roy Williams again, intercepted by Nathan Basher in the end zone. Score remains 17-6. And then Kyle Orton back, picking up 28-yard post route. Nassim Mohammed, there's your score, and it is all Bears 24-6.
Take a look at Harrington here. Mike Brown, TB.
Under the blitz, you see Harrington hit right as he throws. Mike Brown, safety, pips it off, takes it inside. 4th career touchdown, interception return. That is Bears 31-6. All over the Lions in the first half.
Joey Harrington with 3 picks. Hey, who is that with a lot of friends around him?
All right, that's our buddy Chris Collinsworth. Got season tickets for all his buddies. I don't guess they showed up. Bengals, though, they showed up. Carson Palmer, Chad Johnston. Hello, that's a joke. 70-yard touchdown. It is 7-0 Bengals. Palmer back. Hoosh. Manzada takes it in from 12 yards out. 14-0 Cincinnati. Palmer again standing tall. Guns the post route. The Schobel 27-0 Cincinnati all over. Not being nice to the visiting Minnesota Vikings.
Last time the Colts were shut out in the first half was back in October 6, 2003. Today against Tampa Bay Buccaneers on top of the Bills 9-3. Buffalo won all 4 contests against NFC teams last year. Panthers on top by 10 in the first half. And Willie Parker, Ben Roethlisberger getting it done for the Steelers in the first half. And the Titans all over the Ravens, 13-0. I say all over because that offense certainly has been anemic. As Jimmy Johnston said, the passing game of the Ravens non-existent. Let's talk a little bit about Minnesota-Cincinnati.
Minnesota 3-21 since 2001 playing outdoors, but at least they showed up to play. They haven't shown up today. Only 110 yards total offense, whereas Cincinnati's got 337. Culpepper, hottest quarterback in the league outside of Manning a year ago, only 52 yards passing. On the positive side, Carson Palmer, #1 pick from a few years ago, 20 out of 27 really running that Cincinnati offense.
So much was made of D'Angelo Hall supposedly shutting down Terrell Owens. That was a byproduct of one, good coverage, one, but it was 112 yards last week. The other was McNabb's inability to throw the ball down the field after getting hurt. I think what we saw today, and we all knew, I think Terrell Owens was going to come out against a weak secondary in San Francisco and play exceptionally well. I think this is the Philadelphia team. This is the Terrell Owens that we're used to. The sky is not falling in Philadelphia after a week 1 loss.
Well, we saw the 49ers last week at home. We see them going across the country this time. So
St. Louis.
Yeah, well. And they were blitzing last week.
And the coach
Mike March was sick. So
Mike was sick.
Yeah.
Mike was sick. You got to stop piling on.
No.
We'll take you back to the second half of your game after this.
Well, it's halftime. There's David Akers, the place kicker for the Eagles, who suffered a problem with the hamstring, and he's out there early. 28-0. Philadelphia leading. And paint the highlights of this game Eagle green. And we'll be back with a look at the first half. These messages from your local station. Touchdown passes for Donovan McNabb. Rattay's struggling. 28-0 to score. So it's easy for me to say to Darryl Johnson, you're Mike Nolan. What do you tell the club in the locker room?
Well, I want to see how they're going to respond in the second half. They've been facing adversity for quite a while in San Francisco. They had a little bit of success last weekend, and he was anxious to see how they were going to handle that. I don't think this is a product of them mishandling what they did last week. I just think this is a Philadelphia Eagle team that really is out to prove that, hey, we're fine. You know, all the worry, everything that was going on, all this talk about us, where we're at in the NFC, we're just going to eliminate that with our performance this week. That's what they ran into. They ran into a very talented, hot team that was on a mission. Just come out and play the second half. Don't give up. Keep working. We've got a plan in place. We know it's effective. We sold you on it. You got to prove to us that you believe it with your performance this second half.
And it's good to see David Akers out there ready to kick off and begin the second half. The 49ers will get the ball first. Otis Amy and Maurice Hicks are back deep for the 49ers. And Akers with the kickoff. It is short. And Amy, the rookie from Sacramento State, the first time he touched the ball, he returned a punt for a touchdown over 70 yards and a good return out to the 43-yard line. Tony Siragusa, what do you have?
Guys, got a chance to talk to Mike Nolan on the way in. Asked him about the situation. He says, well, you know, this is the best time for me to go and evaluate my players and see what they're really made of. One question I really had that I asked him and didn't respond to is you have a #1 draft pick in Alex Smith, and Tim Rattay's really struggling a little bit with 2 interceptions. Are we going to see him? And he sort of just looked at me and smiled. So it's not we can't cancel that out that we won't see him here in the second half.
Or else he was smiling at you to say you're nuts. Who knows? But we'll see. First down on the 43-yard line, and Rattay's first pass is caught by Arnaz Battle, and a first down inside the 45-yard line, a pickup of 13 yards on the play. And of course, as we know, Alex Smith, the #1 pick in the draft out of Utah, was named the starting quarterback when the camp started by Mike Nolan. And they said, gee, it's going to be in the rookie's hands. His team won only 2 games last year, but during preseason, Tim Rattay took hold, and he got the nod last week. First down, and Rattay to Barlow out of the backfield, and Barlow picks up about 5 yards. Let's take a look at the halftime numbers, heavily favoring the Eagles.
Well, yeah, at 28-0, you know that's going to be the situation. Even the Eagles even rushed for almost 100 yards in the first half, so everything's going their way. You know, the disappointing thing for the 49ers is the turnovers. You know, you can't make mistakes with a team like Philadelphia.
And if you're a fantasy player, McNabb has 4 touchdowns. That's pretty good. T.O. has 2 touchdown catches. L.J. Smith has a grab, as does Westbrook. For the latest fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com. And right now, Barlow dives to about the 37-yard line, picks up 2 more yards with Jeremiah Trotter making the tackle. Patrick Estes, who was picked on the 7th round out of the University of Virginia, number 78, has replaced the injured Jonas Jennings at left tackle. We saw Jennings come off the field before intermission. Remember, he's wearing a sleeve on an injured knee. So that has been, as we mentioned, a banged up left side of the offensive line, including the center. So here are the 49ers. 3rd down and 3. And Rattay's pass, it's caught by Battle, and he has enough for the first down. The forward progress will get him to the 33-yard line. Lito Shepard on the defense, but a pickup of 6.
Very fortunate not to get a bigger hit on Tim Rattay, because here comes your 2 blitzers in this area right here. They've only got 1 running back in protection. Keith Adams kind of gets caught up in the wash a little bit. Justin Smiley's trying to come off and help, but Kevin Barlow needed to get up inside, take the most dangerous man, because I don't think he was accounted for with the offensive line on the left side.
Rattay is now 5 of 12 for 37 yards. There is the story on Jonas Jennings, may return, and he went to the hospital for further observations. Kevin Barlow stopped quickly by Dhani Jones after picking up a pair. Nearly 3 minutes have elapsed here in the 3rd quarter. Philadelphia quiet. They were excited early, and the Eagles responded, taking a 28-0 lead. Donovan McNabb with 4 TD strikes. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Dick Stockton, Darryl Johnston, and the Goose, Tony Siragusa, downstairs. Barlow has gained 31 yards on 9 attempts on the swing pass, cannot handle it. And 3rd down is coming up. There you see the number 72 on the helmets. Talk about various distractions. Talk about a serious tragedy, as Thomas Herrion, the guard, passed away due to a heart ailment on August the 20th after a preseason game, and that was very difficult to come out of.
That's the ultimate tragedy in life and in professional sports, to lose a member of your family, lose a teammate. And you know, I tell you what a class organization, the way the 49ers handled it. Their first priority was Thomas Herrion's family.
Rattay goes down, sacked by Darwin Walker, and a loss of 9 on the play. So for the Eagles, that's their first time getting to the quarterback today.
Well, when you've got you know, your front line is banged up all over across the board. You know, Jonas Jennings, your big free agent, is out. He's gone. You've got the other guys in there are casted hands, bad this, bad that nobody's 100%, and you're going against a very, very aggressive defensive front. They're really going to have to shore things up. Tim Rattay, you don't want him getting beat up today.
Andy Lee with the kick on 4th down. Dexter Wynn will let it bounce, and the 49ers will down into the 3. Back to Herrion. It was Mike Nolan said, look, it's all about the family, and that's where we direct all our energies. And it got through.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40.
Nearly 4 minutes gone by in the 3rd quarter. The Eagles with the ball inside their 5-yard line will start on the 3. in front 28-0. Julian Peterson can line up anywhere. He's a force defensively, but McNabb is getting good production. Steven Spock, undrafted rookie from Fresno State, making the reception. An 8-yard pickup with Jeff Ulbrich, the linebacker, preventing the first down.
Well, you just plug people into this system and let it go. Chad Lewis, their tight end for several years here in Philadelphia, with a broken foot last year, unable to get back, not on the roster. Steven Spock comes in, takes his place, and we're starting to see where Philadelphia is really at its best, when they're really distributing the ball to all their multiple weapons today. And Donovan McNabb doing a great job of getting everybody involved in this offense.
We said we're going to go back to basics, move the chains, have a lot of balance, and they've done exactly that, as Brian Westbrook, short of the first down, picking up 2 yards. And when things really explode in your face, as it did for the Eagles offense on Monday night against the Falcons, the best thing to do is to go back and simplify things, and then maybe then you can expand it as the season wears on.
Go back to what you do best, and it's very difficult early in the year because you don't know what to expect from your opponents, and especially that opener. Nobody's going to show what they're going to do in preseason. They're going to hold back a lot of stuff, so a lot of uncertainty going into that first game. And actually the Eagles faced a little bit of that today going up against San Francisco, especially against their offense, because they didn't see a whole lot last week in that group.
Lamar Gordon is stopped for a loss by Ulbrich and Brian Young, and they'll mark it no gain.
Well, you heard Tony talking to Mike Nolan, and he wants to find out about his players. Jeff Ulbrich does a good way finding his way all the way through that big mess to get to the ball carrier. But this is a franchise that's in transition. You're trying to find the cornerstones, the foundations of what you want to build as you move forward. And that's going to be key today as he evaluates his players in this situation.
Kirk Johnston coming back from the hernia surgery in his first game last week, and Otis Amy stopped at the 45-yard line. Quentin Michael on the special teams tackle. Will be right back.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Chevy, the new Chevrolets, an American revolution.
And welcome back to Philadelphia, where the Eagles headed toward evening their season record at 1-1, lead 28-0 49ers with a first down on their 43-yard line. Terry Jackson, number 22, has come in the game at running back, and the pass is caught by Randy Lloyd. On the quick, a 4-yard pickup by Lloyd, and not much to show for the 49ers offensively, but here's what they've done. Rattay has thrown for 36 yards and 3 interceptions. Barlow, 31 yards on 9 carries, and Arnez Battle, 2 catches, 18 yards. Measly for Mike McCarthy, and remember, he put up some big numbers and had some great weapons in New Orleans.
Yeah, but that's the thing, the personnel. I mean, the players are what's going to make this offense successful, and you can't compare what he had down in New Orleans working with this system.
On second down, here is Terry Jackson again on the screen, and he has a first down. So the 49ers move the sticks. Mike Patterson making the tackle, a pickup of 7 yards to the 46 of the Eagles.
And just, you talked about the Eagles going back to what they do best after Monday night and starting the game with that. And that needs to be San Francisco's approach right here. You find yourself in a very difficult situation, but go back to what you feel is your strongest part of your offense right now. And they've had a couple of nice drives here. They're sputtering. They need somebody to step up and make a big play for this group.
First down, and Rattay on the dash and throws the ball away. Did not have Chris Hetherington open. That's the man he wanted to go to.
Guys, just watching from down here, Javon Curse on the outside. Knows it's going to be a pass every time. Gets down there, and somehow they get somebody in front of him. A guy, Steve Bush, chipping. They're trying to frustrate him as much as possible, but it's frustrating as a defensive end when you know it's going to be a pass getting down there and trying to get them stats padded, but it just ain't working today.
If you're going to go out and try and put a running back on Javon Curse, if you're going to cut him, Frank Gore's got to get him. He's got to get him on the ground. I mean, he's too athletic. He'll run down any quarterback in the NFL.
Gore went in motion, and the pass is caught by Arnaz Battle, and Battle with a good run after the catch and gets some yardage. A first down inside the 30. Michael Lewis, the strong safety, on the tackle, and 18 yards picked up by the 49ers. And right now all they want to do is get some points. As you see, Tim Rattay 2 for 9 and only 13 yards, 3 picks in the first half, and seems to get it going here in the third.
They're getting a little bit of a rhythm in here, and they're starting to get some positive plays. And but they still, you know, the NFL now, you talk to coordinators, it's about getting chunks of yards. It's very difficult to string together these multiple play drives and get down the field and get points.
First down, and Rattay goes down. Lito Shepherd on the cornerback blitz coming in, and that will be the second sack of the game for Philadelphia as Rattay and the Niners lose 8.
There's Lito Shepherd right there. He's going to come from the left side, bringing 2 to one side. You've got both your running backs going the other way. Now, I don't know if Frank Gore made a mistake right there because he went to the same side as Chris Hetherington, and that allowed the overload blitz, which is bringing more blitzers than blockers on that side. And you wonder if Frank Gore maybe needed to be going to his right if that wasn't a breakdown in protection.
Well, you got to guess right against Jim Johnston and his multitude of blitzes. Second down and 18. And here is Rattay, and on the screen pass, Kevin Barlow trying to juke his way. And Barlow does a terrific job of getting down to the 21-yard line. 15 yards, and most of them made after Barlow made the catch. Rookie Trent Cole out of the University of Cincinnati playing the defensive line, making the tackle.
Well, Kevin Barlow, he showed great patience on that play because he had a blitzer coming right into his face, and he doesn't panic. He knows it's a screen. He knows that they've got it covered. The blitz is going to come right here, and watch how he just kind of very patient, slips to the inside, lets Dhani Jones go by, knows what the design of the play is, and knows he's not in trouble.
Third down and 3. 49ers have to get to the 18-yard line. Pressure coming from the right side, and this pass is caught. Let's see where the forward progress is. Steve Bush playing a tight end position, veteran of many seasons, and right on that imaginary yellow line, Dhani Jones covering on the play. And we may have a measurement here to see whether the 49ers pick up another first down. And you know, Darryl, you mentioned about long drives and how risky they are because you may have a penalty or a turnover, and you're really rolling the dice by just trying to go stick by stick down the field.
No, you saw Philadelphia on Monday night with just some illegal formation penalties. That's just a 5-yard penalty, but it totally disrupts your rhythm. And Andy Reid talked about not establishing that rhythm. But I don't put all the blame on Andy Reid and his play calling. They had some breakdowns and some missed assignments early in that game that were kind of derailing them. And at some point, you got to have your chunks. And Philadelphia has done that today with some big plays in the passing game. San Francisco unable to do that.
First down, pump fake, Rattay overthrowing Brandon Lloyd in the end zone. He had to beat Lito Shepherd. So it'll be second down and 10, but the 49ers at least down this close to the goal line for the first time.
Yeah, this is new for them. A nice double move right there. Really gets Lito Shepherd to bite on that slant route. That's a great opportunity, a missed opportunity for the 49ers. Tim Rattay, you're not going to get many of those. When they show up, you got to take advantage of it.
Second and 10, 3 wide receivers, and the veteran Johnny Morton coming back from concussion in motion to the right, and the pass. Morton makes the catch inside the 15-yard line. He'll be about 5 or 6 yards short of the first down. Dhani Jones, who has an interception in this game. Eagles have benefited from 3 turnovers, scoring touchdowns on 2 of them. 3rd and 6. Tim Rattay in his 6th season. And here they come. Dawkins on the pressure and hitting Rattay and knocking him down. No chance there. Arnaz Battle was in the end zone. But Brian Dawkins, who missed some of the action with a twisted ankle last week against the Falcons, came in untouched.
He's your guy that walked in, and there's your situation with a new guy in the lineup. Patrick Estes, you've got to take the inside guy. You got to know that you've got 2 coming. You can't pick it up, so go to the most dangerous man, which is going to be the inside guy, which became Brian Dawkins in that situation.
So you got to give a little bit to Dawkins, too, finding that opening, Moose. I mean, there was nothing there from what I saw. He just popped right through.
Joe Nedney with a 32-yard attempt to give the 49ers points, and he does. 32-yard touchdown. People may say, why not go for it? Well, you got to get 3 before you get on when you're down by that many.
Anything positive.
Earlier, we told you some of the ways you can contribute to hurricane relief. Well, this is NFL Hurricane Relief Weekend. The Bush Clinton Katrina Fund. To pledge, call 1-888-635-5944 or www.bushclintonkatrinafund.org. This is the big weekend, and of course, the NFL very much active, as well as Nedney kicking into the end zone and a touchback. 28-3, the Eagles lead, and they'll get the ball when we return.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Chevy. The new Chevrolet is an American revolution. By NikeGridiron.com. By Circuit City for the hottest new technology. Think Circuit City, just what I needed. And by Chase. Now you can earn double rewards on everyday purchases. Love the double from Chase.
Well, the Philadelphia Phillies in the wild card fight. The Eagles trying to go 1-1. The Philadelphia offensive leaders, Donovan McNabb, brilliant game with 4 touchdown passes despite the bruised chest. Brian Westbrook has gained 69 yards. T.O. 5 catches for 143. L.J. Smith, the tight end, a career high with 7 grabs. First down for McNabb, and the pass incomplete, trying to go to Terrell Owens. McNabb, by the way, thrown for 4 touchdowns, in case you're wondering, 6 times in his career. And his best ever was last year against the Packers when he threw for 5 scores.
It's amazing to see some of the things he's done when he's been in situations. You remember the game against the Arizona Cardinals when he finished the game with a broken leg and had just a huge day. And then today, a lot of concern coming into this game. You know, would this affect him? New shoulder pads, the injury. And it seems like he's just able to concentrate and work right through all that.
Second down and 10. And this pass is caught by Greg Lewis. Tell you what, I have a lot of respect for Donovan McNabb not taking sides in the T.O. duel that has been going on. But Donovan McNabb has told us the other day that he learned from his father early that you have to stay above the fray. Don't get involved. Don't side with one side or another. It takes a lot of self-discipline to do it the way he's done, not getting into, you know, a back-and-forth match with Owen.
Yeah, great information from his parents. You know, be true to yourself. Everybody is not going to like you, but, you know, just stay true, be yourself, and they will respect you. And it's very difficult for a guy in a high-profile position to be able to do that, and he's done a tremendous job.
Here comes pressure on McNabb, and the pass is caught for the first down by Reggie Brown, the second-round pick out of Georgia. You know, they lost Todd Pinkston for the year and hope Brown can start to fill the bill. Gain of 27 yards, but what a difference a week makes for Donovan McNabb as far as the protection.
Yeah, Super Bowl 39 in the opener this season. You know, 3 turnovers, 8 knockdowns, the sacks. This week, only sacked twice, 1 turnover. You know, it's not an uncommon formula around the league. You make the quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket, create some doubt with the protection up front, and you can derail a very high-powered offense like this Philadelphia Eagles group.
And there is David Akers, who had to come out of the game in the first half with a hamstring pull, and he allowed Mark Simoneau to kick an extra point.
I don't agree with this. I'd have him sitting down right now. You don't want damage done where he's going to be out for the year.
Back here in Philadelphia, 28-3 the score. And if I were hosting a talk show, my first guest would be Darryl Moose Johnston, because he has a new book out called Watching Football. And I have to tell you that it's a terrific book. I had a chance to read The Galleys, because not only does it explain the game where you would understand, talks about the memories that Darryl has, and he goes into history of football. It has everything in it. Good book.
Yeah, you're not going to learn how to play the game, but, you know, hopefully to watch the game, and we were able to get into some things a little bit deeper than we do during the course of the broadcast. So hopefully when you're done with it, you just know a little bit more about this great game.
Flipping it out to Brian Westbrook, and a first down out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Winborn on the chase, pickup of 17 yards. So the Eagles driving with 2:46 remaining. Watching football, discovering the game within the game. Darryl Moose Johnston, and you know, I think everyone out there, and you know, I have to tell you that I've covered football myself as a reporter for over 30 years. You learn a lot.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It was kind of hard to balance, you know, not talking down to the people who know the game well and not talking over the head of the people who are just starting to follow this and try and figure this game out.
Westbrook with a couple of nifty moves. Brian Westbrook gets down to the 10-yard line. 20-yard pickup. Tony Barish finally makes the stop. That was Westbrook at his best, Darryl.
Well, he took something that was really dead in the backfield and made it into a huge positive play. You see right there, that play is kind of stuffed into the backfield. Boy, he makes Mike Rumpf miss right there. When he gets out into the open space, he is so dangerous. But it was just such a tough start right there. You see Anthony Adams, he kind of pushes the line of scrimmage back, but Brian Westbrook, great vision, great feet. He gets into the open field. He is dangerous.
89 yards for Westbrook, averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. Lamar Gordon now comes in. He's got some power, and Gordon stopped at the 6-yard line by Julian Peterson and once again Tony Parrish. 4-yard pickup for Gordon, the former Miami Dolphin. And it'll be 2nd down and goal. There is Westbrook, who has 89 yards, and Gordon has 27, but in total yards with Westbrook on the receiving end, 120 plus a TD catch.
They have really quietly done a good job running the football today. They're 11 yards shy of 100 yards rushing, and you know, Donovan has been so good passing the football around everybody that we've kind of overlooked that fact, and that was a question coming in.
They spread him out. Westbrook back in there. Donovan McNabb fires. It's caught, and it is a touchdown. So give it to Greg Lewis. What a play. A multitude of receivers for Donovan McNabb. 5th touchdown pass of the game, and that ties his best set against the Packers last year. A 6-yard toss to Greg Lewis.
Well, this is just a great catch by Greg Lewis. Donovan McNabb just gets enough time by escaping from Jeff Ulbrich right there, moves a little bit to his right, has the opportunity to get this ball off, but watch the finish. Ahmed Plummer thinks he's got an interception. Greg Lewis goes up and steals it from him.
Now you see it, now you don't. David Akers with the extra point, and the Eagles have opened up a 35-3 lead. McNabb. Injury? 5 TD passes. Here's Akers getting ready to kick off. Tony, I know you don't talk much about kickers, but you got to be surprised. Well, do it this time for us.
You know, did he come out and he kicked a nice ball there? It came out at halftime, Akers, and looked like he was a little bit hurt. I don't know if me and Darryl were talking while the break was on about should he be out there kicking right now or should you rest him?
Otis Amy returning that kick to the 32.
I think you got to rest him. You're taking the potential of hurting him even more, and whether he's going to have to sit out a few weeks. This game's well in hand. He doesn't need to be kicking extra points. Mark Simoneau did a good job. I want to see him do a field goal attempt. You know, go, David, go sit down. Don't do any more damage. Mike Bartram, he did a pretty good job kicking off. He did better than that. I mean, you could get anybody to go out and squib one down the middle.
I want to see Hank Friley get out there and kick one. Some other guys try. Well,
that might give you a short field if old Hank got out there to kick it.
Let's not get carried away.
You know he's coming out with the square-toed shoe, too. He's not kicking soccer style. He'll pull a hamstring in a minute.
So the 49ers on their 33, 1st down. Decent protection that time, but the pass is knocked down by Hollis Thomas.
Oh, there's an option.
Tony was available.
Hey, I might not be right back after the game. I'm going to go over there and talk to the Philadelphia Eagles, see if they need a backup and how bad.
You know, there was a kicker many, many years ago named Lou Michaels, who was a lineman, and he used the square toe, and he was a left-footed kicker. And when I saw Tony there, I said, hey, that's Lou Michaels.
That was my dress shoe right there. That wasn't the square toe. It only gets better from there, Dick.
2nd hit 10, and Kevin Barlow on the screen pass, and may have enough for the 1st down. As Roderick Hood and Michael Lewis combined to make the stop. And close to a half a minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. The 49ers, who scored 28 points last week and held on for a 28-25 win over the Rams. Still looking for their 1st touchdown of the game. Rattay has completed 50% of his passes, 12 of 24, just under 100 yards and 3 interceptions. Rattay with a quick toss, caught by Arnaz Battle, but stopped couple of yards from the first down, and that should be the last play of the third quarter. An 8-yard pickup and a crunching hit by, you would expect, Brian Dawkins. And that is the end of the third quarter. Eagles over the 49ers 35-3. We'll continue after a word from your local Fox station. Welcome back to Philadelphia, and the Eagles way ahead. You're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in HD and presented by DirecTV. Rethink TV.
Close third quarter.
That is getting close. They need more time. Start of the fourth. Rattay gets hit from behind and ruled down by contact. Andy Kalu with forcing the fumble and getting the sack on the play, and he was down.
You know, Tim Rattay getting a lot of pressure on him, not really having a good day. This game is, 35-3. It's pretty much out of reach. I don't understand why Nolan wouldn't bring in a guy like Alex Smith. You pay a lot of money for this guy, first rounder. You got to get him some reps during the season. I think this is a pristine opportunity to go and get him in and see what he could do. And
Darryl may have an opinion, because what do you accomplish against this defense at this point? But food for thought. Third down and 8. And Rattay getting pressure, and the pass tipped and incomplete. Fourth down coming up.
Well, not necessarily an opinion, and it's kind of along the lines of what Mike Nolan has done, already during his tenure. He's been very consistent in what he does. He feels Tim Rattay won the job in preseason. It was offered to Alex Smith, and he decided to go with Tim Rattay, and he's going to stay with him. And if Tim was to get hurt during the course of a game and Alex Smith came in, regardless of how he performs, if Tim Rattay is ready to go the following week, he's got his job back. And I think that's very important for a coach to send that type of message.
Tell you what, people's patience these days are really wearing thin. Andy Lee punting to Dexter Wynn, backing up at the 3-yard line. And down he goes at the 9. Most coaches are not ready to get a quarterback out of there unless you're Joe Gibbs.
Yeah, there you go. There's one. Poor Patrick Ramsey.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Jeep. Trail-rated capability only in a Jeep 4x4. By State Farm. Great service, great rates. That's why 40 million drivers trust State Farm. By Schick. Now stay smooth into the night with the new Quattro Midnight. And by the Sharp Aquos. There's more to see.
And back to Philadelphia with less than a minute gone by in the fourth. 35-3. Coy Detmer has come into the game. 9-year veteran, replacing Donovan McNabb, who was brilliant this afternoon. First down from the 10-yard line, and the pass caught by Josh Parry, and the fullback getting close to the first down. Let's take a look at how brilliant Donovan McNabb was. He completed 23 of 29 passes for 342 yards, tied a career high with 5 touchdown passes. His rating out of sight, 155 + 4.
And what was Roethlisberger last week? He was like 11 of 16 for 2 touchdowns, and he gets the 158.3 I
haven't figured out how to do that.
Howie and JB and Jimmy and Terry, they got to break down that thing for me on the pregame show one week, because I don't understand why Donovan McNabb didn't get the 158.3.
Lamar Gordon is in at running back, and Gordon gets the carry, and he is hit by Jeff Ulbrich. T.O., by the way, still out there. Owens has caught 2 touchdown passes today, gone over 100 yards. That was a 2-yard gain that time on the last play. So Owens playing his former team, the 49ers, for the first time. Derek Smith said he was a bad apple, plus a few other things. But Kevin Barlow said, I thought he was okay. There were some mixed emotions. And Owens, always quietly, without saying it, remembers to come back against the people he'd like to hit, and he did. And he has had a brilliant game today against the 49ers. Denver underneath to Harry. Taking a look by the numbers, the rushing story.
That's nice right there for the Philadelphia Eagles, over 100 yards passing.
And for a team that doesn't like to run as much as pass, it's just been a big day all the way around, as all the numbers show.
They reflect the score, unlike last week for San Francisco.
Guys, I'm down here trying to look at Coy Detmer. I can't really tell, but it looks like he might have one of those Superman shirts underneath his pads also. At halftime, there was a rumor saying that he went into Donovan McNabb's locker and was looking at that shirt that he was wearing to protect his chest.
And Lamar Gordon hit immediately by Derek Smith, picking up 2 yards. And again, we told you about the quarterback rating moments ago.
It doesn't make sense that, I mean, 158.3 is the perfect game for a quarterback according to that system, and how Donovan McNabb doesn't land on that one today, I don't know.
How about 8 yards per play?
I mean, that's one of the foundations of Andy Reid's philosophy is he wants to get chunks of yardage, and when you're doing what he did today, to get to 8 yards per play, though, that's unbelievable.
Reggie Brown with the first down. And up to the 32-yard line, Adams on the tackle. And, you know, despite the loss to the Falcons last week, Darryl, and limping off the field is Mike Adams, Detmer completing that pass is that, you know, people still, even with that loss, still feel that the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. I don't think people think because of that loss that the Falcons are. I think Philadelphia still is #1 by far.
There's immense talent on this team, and we've seen defensively how they can just shut an opponent down, and Tony's talked about the secondary and how talented they are there. We've seen the explosive ability of the offense, and it just appears to be a bad night last Monday night for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And we'll have a false start 5-yard penalty marked off against Philadelphia.
You know, one thing people have to realize is
false start, number 72, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Ray Thomas.
When you're as good as the Philadelphia Eagles, you're going to get the best possible game, that a plan and the best possible throw as you're going to get from a team day in and day out when you're as good as the Eagles are. This is the Super Bowl for every team that plays against them.
You're right.
They're a marked team, but still, it's the first game of the season, and for some reason, Andy Reid they haven't had good performances. So you wonder what's going to happen. And Tony, you're looking very prophetic.
Alex Smith is warming up. Here is Denver on the screen pass. L.J. Smith, career game for him as far as receptions, gets the first down out to the 46-yard line. There is Alex Smith, the rookie from Utah.
I'm going that way right now, guys. Check it out.
Warming up, and I guess when Mike Nolan gave him that little grin, just stay with me, you may just see this rookie in there yet. And we understand that the rookie from Utah will go in the next series for the 49ers.
Well, who knows when that's going to be. Philadelphia. Coy Detmer has come in, and they're not missing a beat right now. They're moving right down the field, and he's taking advantage of all these weapons on the outside.
First down from the 46, Lamar Gordon picking up 2.5 yards. Andre Carter with the tackle. Told you about L.J. Smith having a career game, 8 catches, 102 yards. Right now, here's James Brown for a game break.
Hey, Dick, take a look here. Carson Palmer with a little play action. Reverse there to T.J. Hushmanzada. He takes it 16 yards to Pater. 34-0 Cincy. Hey, and by the way, those computations while Terry is going to take the numbers home and crunch them later tonight, Moose. In fact, we know that McNabb was 2 completions away from being perfect today. Back to you guys.
All right, pretty good.
Thank you, JB. Thank you, Terry.
Overtime for Terry. Lamar Gordon with a flag down.
Going to have a guy crunching numbers. No better guy than Terry Bradshaw.
I would say so. And he's only doing it because Donovan McNabb playing in a game in which the starting quarterback for the other team is from Louisiana Tech. That's why he's doing it, although soon will give way to the Utah Ute.
Number 72, offense, 10-yard penalty, remains second down.
Holding against Trey Thomas. The Eagles will be home next week when they entertain the Oakland Raiders. And the 49ers go back home where they beat the Rams last week and will play host to the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys playing the Redskins tomorrow and could go 2-0. Darnarian McCants, former Redskin, has come in the game for the first time. Split to the bottom of your picture. Coy Detmer with a lot of time, and the pass is caught by Billy McMullen. Big pass by Detmer. Had a lot of time to do it. And a gain of 18 yards and a first down at the 38-yard line of the Niners.
It's so important for a team to have a great backup quarterback, and Coy Detmer has made a career out of this. But the great thing about what Coy does is when the opportunity is there for him to get into a game in a situation like this, or when Donovan McNabb has been injured, he comes in and he's very effective. This offense really doesn't miss a beat. I would be interested to see how much they scale back or what they take out, because Donovan's become much more of a pocket passer now than he was earlier in his career. I bet you it's very similar. And, you know, we talk about teams looking for one quarterback. Philadelphia has got a couple guys that are very good at running this system.
And you have to know that system. And here's Detmer in the pass to Steven Spock. And he's tackled at the 30-yard line, down by contact at the 30. Even before the game, Donovan McNabb making his way in to the stadium, knowing he had the bruised chest, and Terrell Owens, the two of them obviously have been at odds. Not so much where it has affected their play, obviously, and it's been evident today. And we don't know what it's going to be like when T.O. doesn't get the ball thrown at him enough, whether he's going to start to squawk again. Who knows? But all we know today is that Owens, with a great 10-year career total, has had a brilliant game, going over 100 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Here is Detmer on the screen pass to Reno Mahe. And Mahe down to the 25-yard line. Quite a day for Donovan McNabb.
Just a great day. Got off to a tremendous start. A little broken play right there, but those two have such a good feel. L.J. Smith with a career day. Brian Westbrook gets into it. I mean, there's just so many weapons on this offense that Donovan McNabb can take advantage of during the course of the game, and he used everyone to their fullest output, and just fun to watch. Fun to watch when this group is in sync the way they were today.
And the crowd gave T.O. a great standing ovation when he came out, although, you know, this is Donovan McNabb's time and town. First down at the 25, and a hard hit. Lamar Gordon is knocked back, and a loss of 1 yard. T.O. on his game today.
Now, we saw this one when we saw Donovan McNabb. They adjust so well when the play breaks down. And Terrell Owens, you know, you get into a situation like this where you're playing against your old team, and he knows that he's a marked man out there, and he came in, he faced a challenge, and just had a tremendous afternoon. And he did get a warm reception when he took the field today, because this city so badly wants a championship. And Terrell Owens, they know, is going to be very important to that. And you see right there, a couple of young guys, they know how important he is to this team on the field. Off the field, he's going to make some people upset. He's going to do some things that drive people nuts. Yeah. But when he walks between the sidelines and the end zone, he is something to watch.
And only time will tell whether T.O. is a distraction, will rear its ugly head before this season's over. Remember, on NFL Hurricane Relief Weekend, please give. Bush Clinton Katrina Fund, those are the numbers. 1-888-635-5944, or online right below that. 5:21 remaining in the game. It'll be 2nd and 11 on the 26 of the 49ers. Play action for Coy Detmer. Detmer completes the pass to L.J. Smith. And once again, one of the 49ers was looking to intercept the pass and failed, and L.J. picking up 17 yards, gets inside the 10.
You have a performance today. Everything, let's let bygones be bygones. And that's what those two need to do. They need to turn the page and move on to what's important, and that's this team staying together, building some chemistry, and trying to win a championship.
A W cures all wounds, Moose.
Does it ever? Yeah.
But the big question comes, what happens when adversity rears its ugly head?
Tick, tick, tick. It could be a time bomb.
How about Cincinnati with 34-0? The Bears going over 30 points today. Well, they showed a little offense. Defense helping them there. And there's Lamar Gordon on the pass out on the flat.
You didn't expect that after their 7-point outburst last weekend?
Frankly, no, Darryl. Frankly, no.
Went up to second that one.
3-yard pickup. And I'll tell you what, this is a, you know, when you're up 35-3, there's nothing better than chewing up the clock and not letting them get the ball back.
Well, they call it the 4-minute drill, and it's a part of the game where you're ahead and you go on and take the field, and your offense wants to stay. They never want to come back off the field till the clock is at 0-0-0. Philadelphia has done a great job in here with Coy Detmer at the helm of taking this ball all the way down the field. This has been an impressive drive. to just really milk the clock down to close to 2 minutes now.
And Denver 9 for 9, but he's going to run it in here as Lamar Gordon gets the touchdown. So Denver 9 for 9 for 94 yards and a 6-yard scoring burst by Lamar Gordon, his first touchdown rushing in an Eagle uniform, and it's 41-3.
Everybody's getting in on it today. Lamar Gordon, the guy brought in. Andy Reid actually liked him before the Miami Dolphins were able to get a hold of his services. But I tell you, he's been impressive running the ball. He's got a nice feel in between the tackles and some good feet.
Good pickup, and it gives the Eagles a little depth at running back, something that they've been missing with Buckhalter out of there. And the extra point by Akers is good, and the Eagles stretch their lead, and we mean stretch, to 42-3 with 3:43 on the clock.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Philadelphia Eagles in a home opener party, leading the 49ers 42-3. And the youngsters in their TO jerseys. A lot of popular players on this team, led by Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens. Otis Amy and Maurice Hicks are back deep. David Akers will kick off. Amy at the 6. And Otis Amy, who went with his middle name instead of Fred before last week's game, is tackled by Jason Short. We'll be right back. Day is over for Tim Rattay. 13 completions, 26 attempts, 107 yards, and 3 interceptions. And the #1 pick in the draft, Alex Smith, who led Utah to a 21-1 record and the school's first finalist for the Heisman Trophy, now seeing his first NFL regular season action. First down and the handoff to Kevin Barlow. Barlow takes it out to the 26-yard line, a gain of 3 yards. Dexter Wynn making the tackle. Alex Smith playing 2 years, and tell you what, the guy has done well in the schoolroom as well, as a bachelor's degree in economics, nearly a 4.0 grade average after 2 years of school. So he's got the smarts. Apparently he's got the other stuff too.
Man, that's impressive.
Second down and 7. Mike Nolan hopes he's impressive enough to move the team a little bit. He's their quarterback that they will develop, no question about it. Took the ball and incomplete, nearly intercepted. And right now for a game break, here's James Brown.
Hey, Dick, an outstanding day for Thomas Jones of the Chicago Bears. 20 carries, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns, including that 16-yard romp. 38-6, highest scoring output since 1993 for the Bears. Back to Dick Stockton.
You know, it's amazing when people say who should be concerned after 1 week of the season. You know, Detroit beats Green Bay, and now you see the Chicago Bears losing to Washington. Same old Bears, no offense, and look what they're doing today. And I think you got to give it a little bit of time. I think you know that, Darryl.
Yeah, by the end of September, we'll kind of sort things out. But week 2, I think we're jumping to some conclusions.
And here's Alex Smith. Nowhere to go with it, and takes a hit.
The kicker.
Yes, Mark Semino. Mark Semino kicked an extra point when Akers unable to go for a while with the hamstring pull. A 3-yard pickup for Smith.
I finally found a kicker I have a lot of respect for, Darryl.
I tell you, I so wanted to see him try a field goal in the second half. I mean, I was so excited going into the second half to see him try a field goal.
4th down coming up, and Andy Lee is back to kick, and Dexter Wynn to return for the Eagles. Wynn calling for the fair catch at the 31-yard line. NFL on Fox next week, week 3, the Packers against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Old battle of the Bays. Falcons and Bills. Panthers, Dolphins, and the Saints and the Vikings. Cowboys and 49ers, the featured game for those of you getting the 4 o'clock game. Mike McMahon is now in at quarterback. He was the emergency quarterback today, and the former Detroit Lion. People were wondering if McNabb couldn't go, whether they would activate 3 quarterbacks or who would come in. Of course, Detmer is the holder for the place kicks. McMahon outplayed Detmer in preseason.
Hard to believe with that 14-play, 90-yard drive that was 10+ minutes led by Coy Detmer.
And Lamar Gordon is dragged down by Brandon Moore after picking up 1 yard. And we're getting close to the 2-minute warning. Speaking of Tampa Bay leading Buffalo and Carolina leading New England. So AFC regarded by most observers, Darryl, as a stronger conference, but you wouldn't know it on some of those scores today.
We don't know what's going to happen this season yet. And you made a great point, you know, after last week, and there's such an overreaction to whether a team won or lost and what their course of their season is going to be. And, you know, we'll find out as this goes on, but not after week 1.
No. Well, Mike McMahon in there now, the former Detroit Lion starter and backup. 2-minute warning. We'll be back to Philadelphia. Back in Philadelphia with 2 minutes remaining. Well, some shows break the rules, and this one slashes right through them. Television's most provocative series has returned. Nip Tuck. Don't miss an all-new episode this week, only on FX. Well, a gorgeous day in Philadelphia, and the Eagles have responded. Coming back after their loss Monday night, an emotional loss in Atlanta, and the most lopsided victories since November of '81 when they trounced the old St. Louis Cardinals 52-10. Mike McMahon in at quarterback, and Reno Mahe getting a couple of yards, and a flag is down. 1 yard pickup on the play, and one of the 49ers is slow getting up. Marcus Douglas, but he appears to be all right.
That's the one thing you in this situation, a game that's pretty much been resolved.
Formation. Number 77 offense is not up on the line of scrimmage. The penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Tim Rattay, and remember, Mike Nolan got a victory with Rattay at quarterback and did a pretty efficient job last week with 11 of 16, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. So Rattay will be back at him against the Dallas Cowboys next week. Mike Adams, the hero defensively, but 49ers, it's a distant memory for Kevin Barlow, their victory over the Rams. 3rd down and 7. And a good catch and a 1st down, Darnarian McCants. And he's going to be one to watch. If you're looking for another receiver to go along with T.O., they may have it in Darnarian McCants, who the Redskins waived and picked up by the Eagles. 20-yard gain, and they've liked him.
Well, he had a couple big games against Philadelphia, so you always remember those guys as a coach. And when he became available, I agree, Dick. I think it was a good pickup by them. It's an area with Todd Pinkston out. You're trying to find another guy to get into that rotation, and they're bringing him along slowly, but it wouldn't shock me in a couple of weeks to see him become a bigger part of this offense.
Well, they have spread it around today, no question about it. 11 different players have caught passes. 1st and 10, Reno Mahe finds an opening off the left side, gets tripped up, and has the 1st down nonetheless. Shawntae Spencer making the tackle. And again, you say, well, look, what do you expect against the 49ers in your home opener? But that doesn't automatically mean that you're going to turn it around and be crisp the next week, as you know from your experience.
And also coming across the country, West Coast to East Coast is a difficult trip. They came in on Friday, you know, to try and combat that. But it's a franchise that's trying to turn the corner. And it was a big win for them last week. And you know, this is a tough afternoon for him, but this is a very, very good Philadelphia Eagle team, as we saw today. And, you know, it is what it is. And you learn some lessons from this. You go back, you put that film on. I think Mike Nolan's going to be very, very, very happy with the way his guys performed throughout the game, though. And that's, if you got those type of people, you can move in the right direction.
They'll go to 1-1, and so will the Philadelphia Eagles. 1-1, and their 582 total yards ties a team record, tying an individual record. Donovan McNabb with 5 touchdown passes. Andy Reid gets it even, and a blowout today. 42-3, the Eagles win. We will be back here in Philadelphia after these messages. And a huge win for the Eagles over the 49ers, 42-3 this afternoon. And now for the UPS leaderboard, Donovan McNabb, 5 touchdown passes. Terrell Owens caught 2 touchdown passes. They have a chance to smile together. Everything went well together. And today, and T.O. answered his 49er critics dramatically with 5 catches and 143 yards. UPS, what Brown can do for you. That's the story here from Philadelphia. And right now, let's send it to our studios in Los Angeles for Darryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa. Dick Stockton saying so long as we send it to James Brown in L.A.
All right, we welcome those of you who just watched Philadelphia score its largest margin of victory since 1981 with that spanking there of San Francisco, 42-3. Let's take you to the visual embellishments, if you will, TB.
All right, Donovan McNabb making the start despite a bruised chest. Terrell Owens facing his old former teammates, and this is just one heck of a game by McNabb. Back, gets away from the rush, rolls left. You think he's got chest problems, don't worry. This kind of answered those doubters. 68-yard touchdown to T.O. We're off and running, 7-0 Eagles. Then McNabb. Back once again, looking, steps up. This is just a gorgeous rainbow. Drops it right in over the top of the secondary. 42-yard score to T.O., 21-0 Eagles on the 49ers. Then David Akers, the kicker for the Eagles, pull hamstring, and then Semino comes in. He has to kick the extra point. That's the linebacker. It's 28-0. Second half now. McNabb picks up right where he left off. Greg Lewis, 6-yard score. McNabb's 5th touchdown pass on today, 35-3. Nice going, Donovan. There's your final, folks. It's all Eagles coming back, taking that record to 1-1, 42-3 over the visiting 49ers.
And, you know, you can find any stat that looks impressive. Only 1 turnover by the Eagles. But, Jimmy, I guess I go back to one part where that offensive line just protected Donovan McNabb all day long.
Well, it was important because a week ago, everybody's got carried away with San Francisco. San Francisco surprised St. Louis by blitzing 27 times. Half their snaps on defense, they were blitzing. And they sacked Bolger 7 times, 5 of them on the blitzes. Well, Philadelphia, they were prepared for the blitz. And, you know, Philadelphia is not San Francisco. Let's not kid ourselves. San Francisco's maybe a 4 or 5 win team. Philadelphia is the elite of the NFC. They were ready for it.
And, Jimmy, you said week 1 that's effective because the blitzing?
A lot of times you go through preseason, you don't show all of your blitzes. You don't show all your new wrinkles. And so I'm sure San Francisco had saved some of those blitzes that they had been practicing on, saved it for the opening week. But now everybody's prepared for it. It's a different ball game.
Yeah, and conversely, I think everyone overreacted like they did to San Francisco's win to Philadelphia's loss. L.J. Smith emerged today. Westbrook was used great today. McNabb was phenomenal today. The offensive line, in many ways, that loss in Atlanta, there were so many distractions in the preseason and so many distractions before the game in Atlanta. That loss, I think, brought this football team together. Brought Owens, brought McNabb, brought the whole group back together. Great coaching staff, great football team. And they are one of the elite teams in football.
Right. McNabb, 23 of 29, 342 yards, 5 touchdowns. And, Terry, while the numbers, again, are impressive, it's how he distributed the ball, his arsenal, if you will, the repertoire that he displayed today.
Well, I go back to, you know, Andy Reid does such a wonderful job with his quarterback in setting up formations, getting perfect matchups with Westbrook out of the backfield. Lewis, we saw him at the end of last year on the deep route, but today it was Donovan McNabb. Not to mention the fact he's coming off, you know, a rough game Monday night against Atlanta there. He's under pressure, moving to the left. You don't move to the left and throw on the run if you're hurting. Beautiful job, 68-yard score to T.O. Terrell Owens down the sideline, and the score is 7-0. Here they come with a rush. 5-man rush, wide open in the middle. There you see, touchdown. Beautiful job that time by Ake. Now, back again comes McNabb, Loftus to Terrell Owens. 2 people there. This is a great throw, a very difficult throw to drop it straight down. McNabb rolling out right. Score. Once again, a nice job by the offensive line and a good job, credit Andy Reid, with moving his players around, shifting up formations, getting mismatches, and McNabb coming back. Great players have always done this. Have a bad game one week, you almost never see them have 2 games in a row that are bad, and McNabb playing injured. Terrell Owens against his former teammates. Really just an outstanding job by, as you guys said, one of the elite teams in our league.
And there's a quiet toughness to Donovan McNabb, both mentally and physically. You rarely know when something's bothering him physically or emotionally. He's been through quite a bit over the last couple of years, both physically and to have to deal with the distractions he's had to deal with. He's a tough guy.
He's a stand-up guy, Jimmy.
Yeah, and to you, let's not take anything. San Francisco, it's a new coaching staff. It's a young team. They're starting to build. They will be fine down the road, but this was a tough game for them to travel across the country and play against a very mad, physical Philadelphia team.
And you guys have already articulated all of the attributes that Donovan McNabb brings to the table, and indeed he does, which explains why he is the leader of the Philadelphia Eagles. After the game, a stellar game indeed. He caught up with a guy who has a little bit of humor with him, but our own Tony Siragusa talking with Donovan McNabb.
Thanks, JB. We're here with Donovan McNabb. Donovan, 11 different players with catches today. Does it get any better than that?
It doesn't, but I think the exciting thing about it is obviously what happened last week. That just wasn't us, and we were able to show what kind of football we play out here in Philadelphia, and hopefully we'll be able to add a little confidence for next week.
A lot of people off the field, the TO, and you think it seems like everything is mended. Is that the truth? Is that what's actually happening?
Well, I think we both realize that we need each other out here on this football field, and we want nothing but the best for each other. And in order for that to happen, obviously we got to be on the same page here on this football field, and which leads to everyone else being able to get involved.
You handle this whole thing like a gentleman. Thanks for the interview today. Back to you, JB.
Hey, thanks, guys.
All right, Tony, thank you so much. And you know, Terry, I know we have worn this conversation out, but can you even imagine not communicating with your prime receiving target and going out and playing this well?
I go back to what I said before we went to the interview, is that he's a stand-up guy, Donovan McNabb. Players respect him. Terrell Owens has no choice but to come and meet Donovan McNabb because he runs this show. He is their leader. And Terrell is someone that came from another football team, although a vital part of the success that we saw last year and possibly this year. Terrell Owens will then have to get in line with Donovan McNabb, and I think you're seeing it right now.
And you watch this ball game, Terry, and you know, people may or may not like Owens, but you watch him play. This guy is talented. He is really
That's
talented.
how he would say he's a
player.
He's a player.
Really a player.
That says it all.
Well, you know what? Speaking of being a player, I know in Detroit they'd like to see their young quarterback become a player as well. Detroit and Chicago, the game up next to talk about in TV. Obviously, we're talking about Joey Harrington and company there. All right, let's get you caught up on the action there. Eagles, again, we've talked about it, 42-3. Big victors over the 49ers. Impressive display all the way around. Big day for Donovan McNabb, of course, tying a career high with 5 touchdown tosses. The Bears, 38-6 late in the fourth over Detroit. You heard me talking about Joey Harrington. He's thrown a career-high 5 picks. That's the guy they're hoping to mature. Bengals, speaking of a maturing squad, nice job indeed. Carson Palmer, very, very nice display this late in the fourth as well, 37-8
but the
over
real
there.
story is 10 turnovers in 2 weeks by Dante Culpepper. All of this, mind you, with Moss being traded down to the Oakland Raiders. I'm catching highlights here as we see Jacksonville now.
Indiana,
and the Colts.
Well, they've had their number. It's interesting. Peyton Manning was frustrated for the better part of 3 quarters. Left twitch here. Once again, playing well.
Yeah, nice little deep in against the zone, which is a great place to go, Howie. 21-yard gain by Smith, and then Ron Carthon takes it in 6 yards out as the Colts jump up 7-3. Then Leftwich did a hit by Brock. He goes down, ball pops out. I mean, that was something else. Now, he did return to the Jags' next possession. Gets up, limps off the field, down by 4. 3 seconds left. Jags with a chance to tie it. Leftwich for Smith in the end zone. Back ball is knocked down by Sanders. And there's your final 10-3 Colts over the Jaguars.
And you know what, as we take a look at that, Howard, let me come to you talking defense. I know Coach Johnston can talk about that as well. Colts have allowed just 10 points in the first 2 games. Jacksonville's defense also to be commended in this one.
Well, Jacksonville's defense has been there for a couple of years. And matter of fact, it's been a big thorn in Indianapolis' side. They've beaten them twice in the last 2 years. And I think the Colts can look back at those 2 games and say, maybe those were 2 games if we had back, we might have been playing at home in the AFC Championship game in the playoffs. But when you get to Indianapolis' defense, Tony Dungy stuck with a formula of young, fast defenders. Now, that's not always going to be successful early on, but I think what we're seeing here is we're seeing a defense that is coming of age right before our eyes, particularly early in the season with 2 tough football games.
Well, and they've got some impact players. You look at Freeney there. You know, everybody that goes up against Indianapolis, they've got to say, okay, how are we going to protect against Freeney? You know, Freeney, one-on-one, he's going to win. So they have to structure their protections. They've got to turn back protection. They got to double. They got to do things to keep Freeney out of the backfield. Ron Meeks, defensive coordinator for Indianapolis, coached for me at Dallas, and he is a very aggressive coach. Learning under Tony Dungy, they're getting that defense playing the way that a Super Bowl team should play.
Young guys are growing up, particularly in the secondary.
Yeah, and I think this. I know the Colts fans might be disappointed at the fact that Peyton, it didn't get a touchdown pass today, and maybe not have 47 touchdown passes. But listen to me, when you win tough football games against tough teams, and you do it differently than you did last year, great defense, control the clock. Maybe you don't throw it as much, but you run it just enough. Right. I'm telling you, this is a formula you discover that gets you a Super Bowl, not so much setting records throwing the football.
And it pays big dividends at the end of the year when you're going to be in games when you're not going to light it up and you're going to have to win close games like that.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about it in the pregame show about Troy Aikman not having the stats in some of the games, but we won, and we won Super Bowls. Peyton Manning will see that. He didn't have great stats today, but they won the game against a team that normally plays them very well.
Don't you always have a tougher team if you don't throw it as much and you run it?
Exactly right. And it helps your defense, too. It helps your defense.
All right, Colts score the fewest points in a regular season game in over 2 years. All right, going back to a guy who had an outstanding game, of course, Donovan McNabb, one of the many receivers. L.J. Smith, 9 catches for 119 yards with Tony Siragusa.
Thanks, JB. We're here with L.J. Smith, 8 receptions, 102 yards, 1 TD. Does it get any better than that?
No. I'm basically happy to see the offense do well. You know, after last week, a lot of people had a lot of question marks about us and, you know, whether we were the same team as last year. But we took last week as motivation, and we came out this year and got the job, this week got the job done.
Donovan really spread it around, 11 players with catches. It's nice to see that, and you know, T.O. got a couple of catches in the offseason. He had a lot of things to say, but it seemed like this team is really stuck together.
Yeah, I mean, when it's time for business, come out here and play football. That's what we do. You know, all the preseason distractions are pretty much out the window. You know, guys, when it's time to talk, they talk, and you know, when it's time to play, we play.
So pretty much what you're telling me is that hasn't affected the locker room at all here at the Eagles?
No, not at all. Because, I mean, we got professionals, and I think when it's time to do your job, you do it, and you do it with class, and that's what, you know, playing for the Eagles, what you got to do.
A lot of guys on the Eagles teams have acted like professionals, like yourself. Thank you very much for the interview. Back to you, JB. Thanks, LJ.
All right, Tony, thank you so much. L.J. Smith, as we mentioned before, L.J. Smith, 9 catches, 119 yards, and a touchdown. And again, I guess we talk about that maturing Philadelphia Eagles squad, professional attitude as well, indeed. All right, let's move on to the next game. Buffalo and its defense taking on Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, first time it's 2-0 since 2000, TB.
All right, J.P. Losman, that second-year quarterback out of Tulane, forced out of the pocket, gets a safety by the Buck defense. 2 for 9, 13 yards in the first half was Losman. And then the rookie Cadillac Williams out of Auburn, 3-yard touchdown, 19-3. Tampa Bay doing it the right way. Great defense, ball control offense, eliminate your turnovers, and there is your final.
All right, as we move along with the scores, Carolina over the Patriots late in the fourth, 27-17. Howie Long will certainly talk about that defensive front four of the Panthers getting it done even without Chris Jenkins there.
Ben Roethlisberger, second-year quarterback for the Steelers, testing that injured knee before the game. Big Ben steps up, making a great shot. Nice read, pops it over the middle of Hines Ward. He with a new contract, 16-yard strike. It's 7-0 Steelers. And then Roethlisberger back over the middle for another 14-yard score. 17-0 Steelers over Houston. And then the kid out of North Carolina, Willie Parker, takes it in from 10 yards out. Steelers take their record to 2-0, 27-7 over the Houston Texans.
And as we look at some other scores, again, the Tennessee Titans 25-10 over Baltimore. You guys were teasing Jimmy before about the lack of a running game because there is no passing game, but that certainly is the case there. Tampa Bay's defense, boy, getting it done big time.
Well, we knew what Tampa Bay had, and you look at the stats over the last 5-6 years, Tampa Bay has been there. The game we have today, Seattle. Ray Rhodes, as it turns out a couple of weeks ago, did in fact suffer a mild stroke. John Marshall will be calling the plays today, but Ray Rhodes will be up in the booth.
Going to Tampa, you know, Monty Kiffin, one of the top defensive coordinators in the league, holding Buffalo to 147 total yards. I think Tampa Bay's back. They're back as one of the elite teams. Everybody wondered about them the last couple of years, but they're back.
And doing it the right way.
Right.
Running, defense, bingo.
All right, Tampa Bay's defense yet to allow a touchdown this season. As Howie said, you knew they were going to be there, and they're getting it done nicely. We'll step aside for a quick timeout. Back with more after this. All right, as we welcome you back to Los Angeles, California, we continue to bring you up to date with action around the National Football League. Let's focus back on that Detroit-Chicago contest. Chicago won a 38-6. Joey Harrington, a rough day for him, TB.
5 interceptions, 1 touchdown pass after an interception of Harrington. Thomas Jones takes it in from 3 yards out. Nice job by this Chicago Bear team. Harrington then, though, comes back. Nice job here. Stands in the pocket. 51-yard strike down the right sideline for Roy Williams. Extra points blocked, 7-6 Bears. Bobby Wade now in the second quarter takes this punt, takes it out, stretches it, cuts back up inside, then goes back to the sideline, takes this bad boy, 73 yards. Special teams for the Bears, as Jimmy said earlier. Very good the Bears are. 17-6 Bears over the Lions. Harrington now looking for Roy Williams, but this pass is intercepted by Nathan Vasher in the end zone. Still 17-6 until the rookie Kyle Orton out of Purdue guns his post route down to Masin Muhammad, who came over from Carolina, 28-yard touchdown, 24-6. Chicago blitz. Harrington knocked down, ball up in the air. Mike Brown picks it off. 4th interception return for a touchdown, all the way 41 yards. That's in his career, mind you, 31-6. And then Bears offense. Marcus Pollard gets crushed here by number 30, Mike Brown. Had to leave this football game. Penalty was thrown. Will be fined, I'm sure, come Monday morning. And your final is Bears. Very impressive, 38-6 over the visiting Lions.
Rough game for Joey Harrington. 5 picks on the day. Contrasting that with Kyle Orton, who everyone says they liked a lot. Well, guess what? Kyle Orton, the subject of our interview with Pam Oliver.
Okay, thanks a lot, JB. Kyle Orton, great day for you out there. What's the secret behind such poise?
I don't know, you know, just having good players around you, I guess. Got a great offensive line, and Thomas ran the ball really well and had some big catches.
I know you're playing it cold, but how does it feel?
Feels great. Feels great to get your first win, and you know, especially in a home crowd situation, it feels really good.
What about that TD pass to Musin? Did you keep the ball, first of all?
He kept it for me, so that's good. But no, he made a great catch, got hit pretty hard on it, but you know, saw the field well and just made the throw.
How much do you feel like this is your team?
You know, I think right now it's my team. You know, just got to keep on playing well and getting respect on the field.
All right, thanks, Kyle.
Thanks.
Go enjoy. Back to you, JB.
All right, Pam, and he certainly will continue to get respect on the field. And I go back to what Troy Aikman, our own Troy Aikman, said. He really liked all the ingredients he saw in this guy, the assets that he brought to the table, including his confidence, Jimmy Johnston.
Yeah, JB, yeah, TB will tell you this. There's no secret to this. I mean, you can see it. Yeah, Troy Aikman said before the game, said, hey, this guy's going to have a good ball game. You could see it right away, although it's on his 2nd game as a pro. We watched, Terry, we watched the college games last year, Purdue. Right. You know, remember, we sat up there, Howie, and Kyle Orton, he's making plays. He was up for the Heisman for about 4 or 5 weeks till he was injured. You know, they have it or they don't have it. And you look on the other side, Joey Harrington, how many years is this now? Everybody's waiting for him to do it.
And then you look at Thomas Jones, had a great day today. They'll get Cedric Benson back. They've invested money in their offensive line. Musa Muhammad comes over at wide receiver. No interceptions, 0 turnovers, 8 for 15 on 3rd down. Don't make mistakes. Play good defense. Play good special teams.
Well, I know Terry Bradshaw will be the first to say, you know what, there will be some difficult days, but you've got to learn from that. Joey Harrington, a particularly challenging day, TB, as we take a look at the package with him. 5 picks on the day for Joey Harrington.
You know, it's tough. And, I mean, Joey coming off a nice week last week against Green Bay, but 5 interceptions on the day, coming around, firing the balls, picked off, knocked up, stolen right there. There's 1 interception. As you watch again, standing back, pump fakes. This looks like between he and Williams, a misconnection. Williams comes inside. He threw the fade route. There's interception 2. Then you see the blitz. You got to recognize situations and know when to expect the blitz. That blitz came late enough that he should have been able to pick it up. There's Brown taking it in for 41 yards and a touchdown for the Bears. Like we said earlier, 5 interceptions on the day could destroy you, or you can come back. There's pressure once again, ball picked off again. I say this, and I'm as much as disappointed as anyone simply because of the Williams kids and the fact that Pollard came over from the Colts and the fact that he has Rodgers now in the slot. They've got a good running game, and I just don't understand it. And in talking here in the studio, which all these people here are football people, the fact that some have said, well, maybe he's not being coached, and I just don't find that to be the case.
Something's wrong.
Yeah, something is wrong. We'll see. Something's wrong if he doesn't bounce back next week. That'll be
back here
wrong.
with more scores and highlights as we continue right after this. All right, we welcome those of you who are watching the Minnesota-Cincinnati contest. Excuse me, the Cincinnati Bengals look awfully impressive in that one. Again, Marvin Lewis has got this squad really progressing nicely, and Carson Palmer, what an impressive young man indeed. Let's take a look at some highlights here to embellish what we're saying about Palmer and company.
Hey, Chris
and company.
There it is.
Where's
Got
his company?
Brought his friends with him. Got the seats spot out. They're going to the bathroom or something. Palmer back. Chad Johnston had him on 10 yards with Terry. 70-yard touchdown. That's the post route. Behind everyone. Here we go, Cincinnati. You're looking good. 7-0 it is. Palmer. Then Usmanzada. There it is. Over the inside. Spins out. 14-0. Culpepper looking left, then right, and then there's, oh boy, hey, hello, Death O'Near takes it. Fourth pick of the day of Culpepper, 27-0 Bengals, and then Culpepper, fifth pick of the day as he rolls out to the right. Delta once again, and this is a rout. Cincinnati 37-8 over the visiting Minnesota Vikings. 10 turnovers in 2 weeks by Dante Culpepper.
Big victory for the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, Howie, I know it's got to be awfully difficult to change the culture of losing in an organization around like Marvin Lewis has done there.
Yeah, and it's a bear of a job, and I think Marvin Lewis has done a great job. He's been very demanding of his young players, and I think what we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of young, talented players finally starting to evolve, and we talked about it before, kind of maturing before our very eyes. The mindset of this football team has changed drastically. They're young, they're fast, they're in great condition. He puts a great emphasis on that. They pound the football. We know how talented the quarterback is. He does great things. You look at that throw to Chad Johnston down the middle. That's not your average throw. That's a great
65
throw.
yards in the air is not average.
Well, you knew Marvin Lewis was going to have the defense playing well. You know, 8-8 the last couple of years. Now they're taking a step forward with the #1 pick in the draft with Carson Palmer. You knew he was going to come on. They got through for 337 yards today, 3 touchdowns, looking like they're going to be a lot better than 8-8. They're going to be in the playoffs.
What was the name of that book that you co-wrote there? How to turn this thing around?
Turning the thing around.
Turning the thing
Marvin
around.
read it. Yeah, I autographed it for him.
That's the name of your book?
Turning the thing around. I autographed it.
Which is what he did. Give Jimmy some credit. Hey, we'll get you caught up with the rest of the action when you come back. All right, folks, as we welcome you back to Los Angeles, let's get you caught up on all the scores from around the National Football League. An impressive victory today by the Eagles, bouncing back. Career high, tying 5 touchdowns for Donovan McNabb and company in that impressive victory over San Fran. The Bears, look at the score there, 38 points. Thomas Jones nicely there. Bengals, first time for a 2-0 start. Only the second time, that is, in the last 10 years they've gotten it done. Indianapolis, not a high-scoring one. Defense did a nice job beating the Jaguars by 7 in that contest. The Buccaneers, defense, impressive as well, 19-3 over the Bills.
I know Cadillac Williams, the young rookie, doing a fine job. Carolina hosting their old nemesis, New England. There it is, Davis. Stephen Davis in from 1 yard. Second touchdown on the day, 17-7 Carolina. Jake DeLong. Jake, I don't know what you were thinking. Mike Vrabel standing right there. You gave him a gift. 24-yard interception return. It's 20-17 Carolina. But Stephen Davis, 1 yard and third touchdown on the day. Carolina comes back, takes care of New England. 27-17 by many people out there. This is not a surprise.
All right, look at your Steelers. 16th straight regular season win. 18 consecutive is the record by New England. All right, as we come back to talk a little bit here, let me turn to Jimmy first, talking about there's got to be some alarm in Minnesota.
New owner Ziggy Wilf said this week, after last week's loss, he said, I'm going to be a Monday morning quarterback. I'm going to have to correct some things. Well, things need to be corrected. You look at you know, Dante Culpepper, 10 turnovers in 2 weeks. That's the most turnovers that a quarterback's had since 1991. You know, things are not working. Defensively, they brought in the defensive players. What did they do? They give up over 500 yards to Cincinnati today. So there are problems there, and maybe Randy Moss was right.
I've learned from you guys that there's a lot more than just the surface stuff, but the easy thing is to say Randy Moss, but you also mentioned the loss of
offensive coordinator, and that's one reason Culpepper's not playing very well. Now, Randy Moss said this. He said, you can't operate on the cheap. They've been operating on the cheap for a while, and it's catching up with them.
Well, I think Ziggy Wolf, the new owner, and many of the problems were brought on by the prior regime there, but he maybe should get a copy of Turning the Thing Around by Jimmy Johnson. By the way, he gets no monetary reward for this anymore.
Oh, you bought that. You bought into that.
Yeah. Hey, but Terry asked you, what was the title of the book? Turning the Thing Around.
I'll tell you what, I hope there's a couple of convenience stores on the way to turning it around, because it's going to be a while, and you're going to build up an awful big hunger.
All right, with that in mind, let's take a look at what we have coming up next week right here on Fox NFL Sunday. Buccaneers and Packers. You know, of course, now you know Terry, Howie, Jimmy, and yours truly will be doing it with the pregame show first. And you see the games. Cowboys and 49ers. Cowboys, of course, will be in action tomorrow night, but their defense looking awfully strong as well.
Yeah, and Cowboys have to go back to San Francisco where they won last week.
All right. All right, so for the coach, turning the thing around, Jimmy Johnston, Hall of Famers, Howie Long, and Terry Bradshaw with the glasses looking intelligent. I'm James Brown. We'll see you next week.
Promotional consideration paid for by Fox Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League. The NFL is online at www.nfl.com.
You've been watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in HD and presented by DirecTV. Rethink TV.